Alright, hi everyone. I might be a little louder. I have a lot of filters on the microphone though, so I think this should be fairly level. But will certainly be clearer than it has been previously. I actually, it turns out one of my noise canceling filters, my noise reduction filters, was causing that imbalance in the sound, causing it to kind of sound like it was coming from one side. So I removed that filter. And so hopefully that doesn't lead to too much unwanted background noise, but I don't think that'll be a problem. So I think we'll be okay. How's everyone doing? Happy Monday. Start of a new week. Start of a new work week, at least. My day was okay. I hope yours was too. Gonna play some Umineko. And yeah, we're gonna be reading and chilling as we do on the stream. We are still so early. Is the Twitch schedule accurate? Is the Twitch schedule accurate? Probably not. I probably made that a long time ago. If it's on my profile, I used to start pretty much at 8 on the dot. Now I start closer to 9. Let me see what it says. On my phone schedule. Yeah, it says 8 for most of these. So no, those aren't really accurate. I should go change that. Hey, Evan, how's it going? Yeah, I should go change what Twitch says. Usually I try to tweet about it. Work has been kicking my butt the past few months, so like, yeah, I don't really have a schedule right now. I should probably actually, while we're here, I'm just gonna go edit that and say I have none schedule. Vacation mode? Delete schedule. Okay, yeah. Normally I do Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, I think. That's probably the most reasonable one now, but I'm out of town a lot of weekends. I travel for Grand Archive and fighting game stuff, and then also certain like weekends and stuff for toss-ups. Trying to see how much noise, like noise tolerance my new microphone settings have. Seems pretty reasonable. All right, so where we last left off, nothing happened. They were talking about grandpa's inheritance, and basically half the family's like, I want all of his money, and half the family's like, we shouldn't talk about grandpa dying. He's not dead yet. And the kids are going to the beach, I think. And yeah. How rude. My birth family has nothing to do with this. Natsuhi responded indignantly, though in a low voice, and the already dark atmosphere grew even more hostile. Give it a rest, Ava. Natsuhi. Forgive us. Pardon her rudeness. Hideyoshi tried to smooth things over by glancing at both with a forced smile, but it only resulted in making a hostility between Ava and Natsuhi even more intense. It seems I'll just get in the way. Yeah, get out of there, Doc. Get out of there right now. It seems I'll get in the way if I stay any longer. Please, excuse me. Nanjo rose from his seat and exited the parlor. To an outsider, it may have seemed like a normal act of courtesy, but his back was watched by several glances envious of his ability to escape. Yeah, getting out of this is like optimal right now. After the doctor had exited and his footsteps had disappeared into the distance, Kraus recrossed his legs. In other words, this is what you all would like to say. Father's remaining life is short. You want to quickly enter into a practical conference. concerning the distribution of his inheritance. Why are you all so eager, I wonder? Certainly, as you say, estimating and distributing the Ushiromiya family's wealth is no simple task. In that case, shouldn't we make more careful and deliberate calculations? It seems to me that you all are impatient to split up the cake tonight. Isn't that true, Rosa? What reason is there to be so hasty? So, interestingly, I guess, and I don't know, this maybe gives it away a little bit. Looks like we're not gonna see Rosa's spouse, husband, father of Maria in this, because there's no box for them. There are 2 spots where a box could go, I suppose. But yeah, perhaps Rose wants to get out of there. I definitely think that's going to be important too. Maria's father is going to be something important because, like, no, I guess we don't know much about that yet. I was going to say, like, the people who married into the Ushiromiya family, it's 2 men and 2 women, and I guess a 3rd woman technically, because this is Rudolph's 2nd wife. I don't think there's any relevance there just yet. And it's 2 sons, 2 daughters as well. It's all fairly evenly distributed. 2 sons, 2 daughters. Initially, they married, of course, into the opposite gender, and then the kids are also 2 sons and 2 daughters, and each line only has 1 child. Interestingly. We aren't being hasty. However, we need to have an agreement between the siblings. Oh, I think my noise ducking also started working again as well. So, like, I think when I talk, the game gets quieter, like the way it's supposed to. I think I fixed my microphone problems. Natsuhi and Kairi fans over there on YouTube, heck yeah. It doesn't matter when we do that, but if the day father's condition worsens is approaching, discussing the matter beforehand hardly seems hasty to me. Yeah, I think the audio issues are better as long as I'm not too loud. That's the only... I raised myself a little bit, so as long as I'm not too loud, I think we're in a good spot. Rosa shot a glance at Ava and Rudolph. As the youngest sibling in the family, it was hard for her to be cross-examined by the eldest. Oh? Is that your true opinion? I didn't expect that the most honest and pure-hearted of the siblings would say something like that. I wonder if those 2 told you to say it. And she did look over there as well. Quit it, Aniki. Rosa is one of Dad's kids too. She's got as much right to his inheritance as the rest of us. It's only natural that she'd be interested. After all, Dad'll definitely die, and that's not something that'll happen in the distant future. On the contrary, Aniki, you're the one who's way too relaxed in this situation. It almost seems like you'd like nothing better than to turn the discussion away from the inheritance issue. Well, of course he would want to turn away from the inheritance issue. He's the one currently living in the house that will be part of the inheritance. You know, he and Natsuhi are living in this house on the island. So the more you can forestall the inheritance, well, 1, the longer you get to just chill. And then 2, the more likely that it defaults to the eldest, which is also you. So like Kraus wants this to stall out. And the other 3 probably know that and really want to at least get something on paper so that they can get some piece of this pie. And here's the part of every VN playthrough where I say something and then they explicitly explain it in the text after I say it. What do you mean by that? Are you trying to accuse my husband of something? Calm down, Natsuhi. Listen to what we have to say. Nissan, I hear the times have been extremely good lately. Yes. Since last year, we've been in an unprecedented boom, and the yen keeps on rising. That's not today, Ava. The yen is not rising today. It seems that it's no longer a dream that the dollar will reach 100 yen. Awkward. Also, the ruling party says, Also, the ruling party says that it'll establish health resort maintenance law by next year. POV, you are about to get swindled for all that you are worth. I'm feeling this. Skebs have really kept me attuned with the value of the yen. I am deeply in line, like attuned with the value of the yen. Is that the #1 Cyclops fan, Rysair? I actually wonder if I am. Hi Blade, how you doing? I watched a YouTube video today from Cosmonaut Marcus. He does like movie reviews and stuff, and he did a X-Men 97 review. I think it's 97. The most recent X-Men series. He said it's like super duper good. Which I don't doubt. I do have to see it. It looks super sick. I definitely need to find time to watch that. But in either case, he said he's a Cyclops fan. Said he's a Cyclops fan and that not a lot of people are, and that it's hard to understand why people would be a Cyclops fan. Like, previous to like stuff like this, and obviously in the comics, Cyclops is godlike. But like with a lot of media, people don't really know why Cyclops is, you know, popular. But this was a series that actually made Cyclops like really, really cool, as he is. And yeah, I love Cyclops. He loves Cyclops. Like, he might be a bigger Cyclops fan than me, and I'm sure there are other ones, but I like a Scott Summers. Yeah, he's so cool. I like a Scott Summers. He's kind of godlike. There was an action scene that I saw where he used his optic blast to like propel himself across the ground and swing a roundhouse kick using that like momentum. That's like peak Cyclops. He'd be like, heroes never die. Isn't that Mercy from Overwatch? Also, his girlfriend dies a lot, but like then comes back. So maybe that's why he says that. He literally does the super optic blast from Marvel 2. Wait, the arms crossed. Behold, optic blast. That's so cool. Yeah, I think his heroes don't die in Marvel 2. That's also like a that's a line from The Sandlot. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. Which maybe will be true in Umineko as well. Rysair? What? Am I unlocking core memories? I do that sometimes. Can you stop showing how wrong I am? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I'm just trying to make nostalgic references. Rogue gets the most Marvel FGC love. So hype. You go goodnight sugar, like dash over, grab, kiss, goodnight sugar, throw, use power. Oh, that'd be so sick. Now pay it back by giving me 20 pulls for pity on Fushu. Who's Fushu? Is that the dragon from Mulan? At this moment, resort development companies across Japan are running about, trying to gather as much funding as they can. The Shield Girl in Honkai? Naruhodo. I will give you permission to pull 20 times. You certainly seem to know a lot about it. Japan is about to experience an unprecedented boom. It'll be a repeat of the Korean War demands, the time during which father received the Ushiromiya family. Can I tell your bank? I'll call them right away. The people of Japan, which is your bank, do you use... Is your bank BOFA? Fanimation, thank you for the follow. I saw you over there on YouTube. I appreciate it. Welcome to the challengers. Just give me Cable and Psylocke in another game. Psylocke is one of my favorite fighting game characters, both in Marvel 2 and in X-Men Mutant Academy 2. That game is peak. Wow, someone's trying to dox me and get me with a Gotham. That's a real bank. The Bank of America goes by BOFA, right? We've reached an era where private spending is vast, which means easy money for institutions that can capitalize on that fact. The three kinds of electrical appliances no longer represent the people's needs. The people need ski resorts, golf courses, public pools. Rysair gets hit with a DNOS and then has to get people with the Bofa Bank. I'll never forget when Mark from Mod got me with the DNOS. Would you want Omega Red in another game for memes? Yes. But I want him in the Marvel Overwatch clone, where like he can like grappling hook around on his Omega Red tentacles. I think that would be super sick. I think he might actually be in that game. Is it called Marvel Rivals? The most scuffed Umineko playthrough ever. Omega Red confirmed. Legendary announce on Friday. What game is this from? I don't think he's in it. I don't think he's in Marvel Rivals. Okay. Resort hotels and theme parks. Disney World. Have you gone to Delsney? Have you been to Delsneyland? I wonder what that's referring to, which opened just a few years ago. What an excellent theme park. It's a place where even an adult can be a kid and have fun with his family. No longer do we count our sole virtue to be selfless devotion while failing to care for our families. No longer do we count our sole virtue to be selfless devotion while failing to care for our families? Is this dude saying you could go to Disney World so you don't have to feel guilty about having fun while you're a parent? What a jaded individual. You know, like... as a parent, you should never selflessly spend. But if you're going to Disney World, it counts. On that note, I saw a really funny... Is this game just rich people doing evil rich people things because money? I think so, Panda. I think... If Aura Dude is anything to go off of, and his reaction to playing this, I think that is what this game is about. We have become the most prosperous people in the world, and now we can finally enjoy the benefits. We can go to Disney. Is this where I get to poke fun at adults who go to Disney 4 times a year who don't have kids? The Disney adults. Papa Meat did a video on Disney adults that I thought was kind of funny. I think he was a little unfair in it, in some parts, but I think like he also makes some good points. Okay. The rabid Disney adults, yeah. For me, it's the Star Wars Disney adults that kind of I don't get, and they kind of drive me crazy. Kraus, your foresight's nothing to sneeze at. When I heard that sort of thing several years ago, I thought it was crazy. But when I heard about the G5 Nations Plaza Accord, that all changed. The yen shot up, and I'll bet the price of land skyrockets soon too. I won't spoil anything, but this game will go places you never saw coming. Just stick with it and you'll be rewarded with peak fiction. Oh, I'm sticking with it, Fanimation. I got nowhere else to be. I will do my next 50 streams as Umineko if I have to. I don't care. I'm here. I enjoy doing this. It lets me chat with the chat. It lets me yap a little bit. It lets me talk about funny internet videos that I saw during the day. It's like the perfect stream vessel. The ones who go buy a lightsaber and make noises with them in the Jedi robes? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. As long as I get more Kinzo flow. Okay, well, we'll have to come up with some of that. Hit him with that give me my demonic absinthe. You got past the boat scene, so I believe. Yeah, that was easy. That was light work for me. It won't be long before Japan becomes the economic center of the world. You've got a great sense of direction the world's moving, Kraus. At least there can be no debate about that. I feel the same as Hideyoshi. Aniki, you can read into the next decade of history. I'll bet you got that keen sense from Dad. What if they have, like, the Limitless pill? The one that Bradley Cooper took to, like, predict all the stock trends and make $8 million in, like, 2 days? Please refer to them as Jedi Master. They didn't spend $650 to be called a Jedi Knight. So true. And it's incredible. Jenny Nicholson, one of my favorite content creators. She's the one who turned me on to the Church Play Cinematic Universe. She did a video on the Star Wars hotel that's apparently like $5,000 to stay at. And I'm only 30 minutes into her the one that's out of business now. I'm only 30 minutes into her 4-hour video essay, but I am thoroughly entertained. So, I mean, I love all of her content and always recommend it, but that is one to watch. Locking in. Oh, I love Jenny. I love Jenny's videos. Like her humor and I feel like her humor is shared by me. And I confirmed this when I saw her Church Play Cinematic Universe, and then was recommended afterwards. I got sick during the pandemic, so I watched all 14 Land Before Time movies. Yeah, like, I'm like, okay, this is my people. Like, this is the stuff I can get behind. However, unlike Dad, the timing of your predictions has been a bit off sometimes, right? Nissan, you've been starting resort projects everywhere, convinced that Japan will soon see a boom, but almost all of them continue to fail. You opened up that Star Wars resort in Florida, and it totally bombed. What happened? I love her video about the Vampire Diaries. I was gonna do a parody of that. Okay, so God, I'm getting off topic a lot, but this is what you signed up for, so take it or leave it. So her like unhinged vampire ad. I'll wait till after the ad. Yeah, we'll just wait till after the ad does. I don't like doing a lot of stuff during ad breaks, so I will wait. All right, let me say, Scout the Land is Scout the Land is really good. I mean, being like, you can't put them on the bottom, so like it is worse than Fairy Whispers, but that doesn't make it bad, right? Like being able to get advanced element cards with it is actually pretty big. And if you have both that, yeah, like you just run both, right? You just run 8. Like it's for decks that want to just get to 1 or 2 cards, like Tristan, like Diana, maybe like Xander. I really think there is some Win Xander Luxem deck that exists out there. I just have no idea how it wins the game in a sea of like Sylvie and Tristan and Nico and all that. I also think Fire Luxem is still a deck. I just don't know how to build that either. I think Fire Luxem is and you run Hide and Bush and stuff. Because with Fire Luxem, when the outlook is on the stack, you can Hide and Bush. And then they don't spend it, but then you kill the outlook. I don't know, that doesn't really work either. Anyways, ad break over. So Jenny's unhinged recap of Vampire Diaries or whatever it's called, that spawned another not another channel, but a series on another channel. There's a channel called Mike's Mike, which he's also fabulous, amazing content. If you like schlocky, like CW-esque mid-2000s style shows, like The Vampire Diaries is a good example of one. Glee. I think he did one for Lost. And then he does the same thing for like movies. So he did one for like the Pitch Perfect series. He did one for The Devil Wears Prada. Amazing, right? Highly recommend. He did Riverdale. I don't know if he did Riverdale. He may have. I have not seen that one. But Riverdale is also an incredible incredible experience. But they have those like unhinged recaps with like the board and all the like, they're like pointing and like connecting things. I wanted to do one of those for Undernight. I wanted to do a sufficiently unhinged recap of Undernight lore, but I did not have the bandwidth to create that. Like, I really wanted to make that video, and I think it would have been so good in a like Vampire Diaries video / Mike's Mike style of commentary. I think that would be so good. Well, I'm sure the era you predicted will soon arrive. It seems you misread the timing of that boom. You were too early. Boomed too early. You then panicked and tried to sell everything off, which only opened the wound even further. Rysair, I need something to spend my Rysair points on. I have no idea what to get. I can't help you. I can't help you. What can I do? You heard all yeah, I'm sure you have infinite, but how wholesome is Unilore? It's like, I don't know. I don't think it's like unsay so or anything. I think it's some of it's kind of wholesome. I think largely it's just kind of like high school slice of life stuff, but with the whoa, what's happening? Oh, okay, well, I'll do it. We'll go Gremlin. Yeah, you can make a lot of sounds, but yeah, I don't have good high point redeems. I don't really know what to do with them. Sound alerts are doubled? Oh, that's right. I did the thing where I... Hold on. Where are they doubled is the question. Might be better. It's not better. Hold on. Okay, it's there. Oh, I think that one needs muted. Yeah, I think that should be normal now. Definitely not better. Yeah, I see where it was. Okay, I think we're good now. Okay. Is this true proof that you mistrust your own ability? How rude. You got the freaking Stephanie from Full House catchphrase here on Natsuhi. Are you trying to insult my husband? No, ma'am. I am succeeding at insulting your husband. Natsuhi's forehead creased as she rose from the sofa. Ava, paying no heed, stared at Kraus with a confident smile. Kraus, who has also maintained his confident appearance, told Natsuhi to sit down. Please stop, Natsuhi. Ava's always been incapable of talking any other way. Oh, who's over there? Hi, JB. How's it going? Calm down a little, or your headache will get worse. Oh, there's something about these headaches. Is she psychic? Wait! Is she psychic and he's using her psychic abilities to make these business predictions? He thinks I'm onto something. You drink, by the way. For everyone playing along to the Rysair Plays a VN drinking game, drink every time I come up with a theory. Period. That's the rule. You'll have a good time, I swear. Drink responsibly, yada, yada, yada. There's proof of your lack of talent right next to us. After all, don't test me. I bought 2 6-packs. Alcohol poisoning incoming. Yeah, I think some folks have actually gone through with it. You don't have to drink twice if the theory is proven wrong. You have to drink twice if the theory is proven wrong. No. It can't. No. It should go the other way. Bottoms out when he gets out a spreadsheet. After all, Nissan, weren't you excited about turning this island into a resort? You built a wonderful resort hotel and beautifully maintained the garden. That sounds sewer slidal? Oh man, no, I don't think it's that bad, Mango. They're upgraded to shots if they're proven wrong within the same stream. Why are y'all trying to hurt everybody? I'm just an amateur and don't pretend to understand, but you must have used a significant amount of money for that, right? And what's that to you? Well, bitch, that's my money as well. My husband's business is none of yours. Hold on, this tweet's a banger. Hold on, have you seen... Hold on, wait, check out this tweet. Take a shot for how many changes there are between session 1 and final session tier list. Ooh, see, that's a pretty good one, actually. Migraine MILF is heated? Yeah. Hey, check out this tweet. This shit slaps. People in the West have asked why no diversity in my games, but they are wrong when all my games have included a gay character. You, the player. So good. Okay. Let's. Actually, that's not true, Natsuhi. Rokkenjima doesn't belong to Aniki. Kojimbo strikes again. It belongs to Dad. Of course, the hotel does belong to Aniki, right? In fact, we'd be more than willing to pay lodging fees for tonight. Oh, wait, based Rudolph? What do you think, Rosa? Well, if what I have on hand will suffice, if I can make it into a resort, this island's financial worth will rise. It's true that expenses have piled up, but we can expect large harvest in the future. You could also take this island, make it a resort, and invite, what's his name? Zach Baggins, the Ghost Adventures guy. Get him on the island and get him looking for Beatrice, the Golden Witch, and then have him do a show on it. People would come flocking to this island. When that happens, all of you stand to profit as well, do you not? Call in Miss... I stayed on Rokkenjima for 1 week, and I saw no witch. Bro, there's no witch here, bro. It's just like panning the camera across the beach. Mr. Beast thumbnail pointing at the portrait. If the value of this island rises, that'll increase our portions when we distribute the inheritance. Of course, I won't ask you to divide the island and the mansion into 4 equal parts. We can just resolve the matter with money equal to the value of the property. If you understand that much, what about my business makes you so dissatisfied? We aren't dissatisfied. We're uneasy. I'd place 300 women on this island alone to see who would use their witch powers. 300 women aged 1 to 300 all will find out which one of them is a witch. In the first place, Aniki, when do you plan to open that hotel? Left this way, we won't get anything out of it except our grubby handprints, right? That's right. It's an important tool for your business, isn't it? Surely you can't keep it locked up until the moment you open it. Buildings go bad if you don't use them and air them out every once in a while. Even so, it's a bit extravagant for a guest house that we only use once a year. Isn't that right, Rose? Oh, they keep getting Rosa in on this. She doesn't want to talk. That's right. Considering how wonderful it is, I'm sure it will become quite popular once you open it. Oh. So the hotel you keep talking about is the guest house. It's splendid. Just as Rosa said, if you were to open it, I'm sure it would become popular. The lodging they had been guided to wasn't originally intended to serve as a guest house. It was originally constructed as a resort hotel. The vapors. The baby's just passing out from the vapors. They're crying. Kinzo's just spitting bars over the screaming of, like, children aged 1 to, like, 11. It was originally constructed as a resort hotel. Even though it was built 2 years previously, there was still absolutely no prospect of it opening. Nissan. It's just like all of your enterprises. Your attention and planning are both fabulous. Then, it always becomes unmaintainable partway through. It ends before you have a chance to earn any profit. Oh, so he's a lab monster, huh? He just like, he comes up with the setup. It's perfect, you know, cannot be counterplayed, and then just botches the execution. You were brilliant when you saw that using this island only as a place to live was a waste. I think it was a pretty good plan to turn it into a resort that could use the prospect of marine sports, fishing, honeymoons, and the like to attract customers. If I were the oldest son, I'm sure I'd have strained my brain looking for a way to make a profit off of this island. Yeah, not practical setups. But 2 full years have passed since you finished building, right? After 2 years, you still haven't had the opportunity to open it. Where's the managing company you entrusted it to? Impertinence! That's not my husband's fault. There's just been some trouble with the company that my husband contracted with. No matter how you look at it, we are victims. Okay, lady. And yet, the rumors we've heard about this company you hired haven't been good at all. Okay, so they're getting his ass right now. He's doing some shady stuff. Let's be clear about this, dear. Do you really think we wouldn't hear about how lack of payment, embezzlement, and other issues led to the project disintegrating mid-flight? Ava's kind of the best. I don't know. I'm kind of an Ava fan. Hun, you don't have to defend him so hard. Yeah, you make it a little obvious. We even have evidence. Oh, she's getting after it. I don't know what kind of evidence you think you found, but it's all baseless. Yeah, it's not based. It's purely baseless. As new members in the tourism industry, it is necessary for us to lay the groundwork with various people. It is also important to investigate the trustworthiness of our partners. Whoopsies. It's merely taken us some time to meet that goal. I'll admit that, in my rashness, the hotel was completed too early. However, it's not as though we're paying maintenance costs. It's a foundation that will eventually become immensely significant. Liar. I bet you want to liquidate it, but you can't. After all, there's no reason for anyone to buy such an extravagant hotel on an isolated, empty island without any established sightseeing routes. And anyways, what about all the loans you made for this project? Even if you aren't incurring maintenance costs, the borrowed money that you can't return just keeps growing. Sorry, Kraus. But I've investigated the development plan for this island a bit. To be honest, I haven't heard anything good either. Hideyoshi. I can see how you might be left with that impression, but by looking at the current financial situation. However, this is a forward-looking investment. I have no choice but to admit that my prediction was mistaken, and that up until now, several liabilities have been created. Is this a Scooby-Doo story? Hold on. Is this gonna be some Scooby-Doo stuff where, like, the witch on the island is all made up by Kraus to, like, get people to back out of the poor investment business venture? And is this, dude, if Kraus kills half his family to convince investors that the island is haunted by a witch, to get them to back out of these, like, loans and then liquidate it, I will be floored. Paper Hands Hideyoshi, can't see we're going to the moon, shakes my head. Someone should write down all my theories. I mean, they'll all be documented on YouTube, but unironically, this game is very Scooby-Doo at times. Pog. However, the times have finally caught up with me. I will soon regain everything that I've lost up until this point. He is all about these diamond hands. Not actually. All of my investments I have made until now have finally returned to my possession. That's right. Just like throwing away a small fry, which then becomes a salmon, they will come back even bigger than before. I would accept that. The resort business will probably see an unprecedented boom before long, so I don't know if it'll be enough to cover all of your debt. However, Kraus Nissan, after all of your failures in the past, Who exactly do you expect to provide you with more funding? And this isn't some small amount we're talking about. Excuse me. You'll need enough funding to fill the massive hole you've dug. I'm not a Natsuhi fan here. All she does is say, "What are you trying to say?" when he has very explicitly stated what he is trying to say. Natsu, please don't get angry. We looked into this too. We checked to see who might have provided him with enough financing to support his recent large-scale projects, despite his string of failures. And we discovered that no such backer exists. The iron rule of the money roulette is that you always bet against the loser. Aniki, you are a fairly well-known loser in this field. It's true that prosperous times are about to come, but when we looked for people who considered that enough to overlook your string of failures, and also had enough for the investment, we found no candidates. I understand her name is Natsuhi, but I'm hearing something else in the background listening. So, the big question now. I slur a little bit when I talk. I talk kind of fast when I'm reading, so I definitely slur a little bit when I talk. The big question now is where you get all that money from. Oh, I wonder, could it be Kinzo? Now, isn't this intriguing? And? Dear, how long do you plan to let these ridiculous remarks stand? Oh, he got them from her family. Oh, he's sinking her family wealth. Sit down, Natsuhi-san. Let's cut to the point. Aniki, you've been diverting Dad's private funds for your own business. There's pretty much no room for doubt. If you think we made some kind of mistake, please, feel free to explain. Rudolph, don't call it diverting funds. Yeah, call it what it is. Call it embezzling. Yeah, thank you. Based... Call it embezzlement, plain and simple. A huge crime that can be criminally prosecuted. This sort of rudeness cannot be tolerated. How can you face the successor to the Ushiromiya head family and level these absurd accusations? They aren't absurd. They're right on the mark. I'm sure he'd like somehow make his business succeed and recover his losses, but his debt keeps getting bigger. He's just trying to cover up the failure of one gamble by making an even bigger one. There it is. More fighting game advice. Take note, take note. More fighting game advice. If your gamble messes up, make an even bigger gamble. It's only natural that he try to grab any source of funding close at hand. Let me be frank, Nissan. What you're doing is embezzlement. You're betraying father. You know that we'll have the courts settle this after all this is over, right? He's gonna say and I think he's using Natsuhi's family's funds. Do you think that kind of person has any right to call themselves the successor to the Ushiromiya head family? Of all the... You dare to claim that he has betrayed the family head? You no longer have the right to straddle the threshold of the glorious... That's phrasing. Ushiromiya family. Leave this place at once. Now. Get out. Get out. Get out. Natsuhi, who had already reached the limits of her anger, shouted at Eva in a rage, and then pointed alternatively at Eva and the hallway, demanding that she leave. Eva took out a folding fan and fanned herself with it, glaring maliciously at Natsuhi as though silently daring her to repeat what she had said. Eva is so sick. However, her mouth was still smiling, curved in the shape of a crescent moon. In the unpresent silence, Rosa gulped. Hey, oh my god, that voice. Ah, Natsuhine-san. To whom do you think you are speaking in such a tone? Yeah, she's number 2 around here, milady. Keep that in mind. I'm speaking to the exceedingly rude sister of my husband, and the person in charge of the main family's kitchen, As the person in charge of the main family's kitchen, I cannot overlook any more of this. Oh my god, that delivery is actually sick. In charge of the kitchen? I mean, I gotta main her in Golden Fantasia. Like, there's no other character for me. It's so good. Be silent. Lowly maids. Oh my god. Ryer's awakening. Oh, ad break. All right. I'm gonna look up her voice actress while we wait on the ad break. Her and Kinzo have such great VAs. Yeah, they really give it to this. Miki Ito voices Eva Ushirimiya in Umineko. Ito is also known as her role as Sachiko Ogasawara in Maria-sama ga Miteru in 2009. She is in some Gundam stuff. Let's see. Well, she's in like everything. Seeing if there's anything I recognize. Today I'm learning I don't watch anime. Oh, she's 18 in Dragon Ball Super? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Is she always Android 18? Yeah, she's just always Android 18 from Bio Broly. And in all the video games? Yeah. Like Bio Broly ... Bio Broly's peak. What are you talking about? A lot of the Umineko VAs got really famous after this. I believe it. They're doing really good. Compared to the elegance and playfulness she'd shown until a second ago, she was now unimaginably aggressive. You're smoking crack. I'm smoking demonic absinthe, Evan. If I commented on your comment, I missed it. You said her voice acting sounds hot. Oh, I looked up her other roles. She's also Android 18. So it's like, yeah, that checks. How foolish. You stand down. Before Eva of the Ushirimiya family. You tell me to stand down? Me? Ushirimiya Eva? The third ranked in the Ushirimiya family hierarchy and the one allowed to sit at the left shoulder of the head? Know your place. And then look at your shabby self in a mirror. Look at your dumb ass. Tell her about herself. Tell her about herself. Where is the symbol of the wing on your clothes? Where are you permitted to wear the one-winged eagle? Oh, wait. Hold on. That's really important. Hold on. That's really important. Canon wears the one-winged eagle. The other servants... Oh, she does too. These servants don't, though. Oh, he does. Okay, no. I remember I saw this on his clothes, and I was like, that's odd. But I didn't realize that some of the other ones have it. See, these three have it. These two don't, or they don't display it. That's definitely relevant, and I don't know why. She also doesn't wear it. Is this because she is the second wife? Oh, hold on. Maybe it shows on the new... Yeah, see, she doesn't wear it. And could it be because she's the second wife? He also doesn't wear it. Oh, do the spouses not get to wear it? The spouses do not get to wear it. You have to have Ushirimiya... Have to have Ushirimiya blood in you? I'm curious, because these three servants wear it, and these two servants don't. Very much deliberate. This is definitely a theory, because this is actually true. Theories are proven. Hypotheses are conceived. This is true. This is big, though. There's a reason these three are allowed to be marked with the one-winged eagle. Which my other theory is that these people are literally furniture. So I don't know if we want to go to that one. Because they said we are furniture, but I'm like, they might literally be furniture. So, Genji, I don't know about, but there is a world where these two are brother and sister, and they are the child of Kinzo and the servant, and they're bastard children. Or they're like, we don't know what his late wife looked like or whatever. There's definitely a world where the servants who bear the crests have some kind of significance versus the servants that don't. Also, yeah, get used to this. I take singular lines. Shoutouts to Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, because I take singular lines and turn them into entire theories and plot threads. Kumasawa is like 80, so yeah. I'll take a single. You want a midi-chlorian? I'll give you a midi-chlorian. I take one line out of context and turn it into a whole plot thread. But I do think this is hyper relevant and will come up at some point. Aren't you nothing more than a borrowed womb to the next successor of the Ushiromiya family? Based. Understand your place, you common housemaid. Ava's face twisted hideously as her words gouged into Natsu's heart like talons, wrenching at it. There were 100 ways Natsuki wanted to respond. However, her anger and sorrow crushed her throat, and none of those words managed to make it to her mouth. Her anger had nowhere to go and became a single hot tear that slowly dripped down. What's wrong? If you have something to say, please do so. Come on. Ava faced her with a provocative gaze. However, Natsuki could do nothing but tremble, her clenched fists quivering. Kraus quietly broke that powder keg tension. Whoosh! No, never. Natsuki, leave your seat. You should go cool your head. Oh, no! He's not siding with his wife. Natsuki, resenting the fact that her husband had not come to her aid, shifted the focus of her attack. Dear, don't you understand what they're saying about you? These people are basically calling you a traitor to father. They are making light of the fact that we protect the glory of the Ushiromiya family, even though we are constantly expending every effort to earn that glory from father. They trample all of that underfoot with their hateful rambling. And you don't even try to fight back? Why? I'm only standing up for us because you won't. And if you've been putting the entire burden on me for some time now, and now you tell me to go cool my head? It's always me. Even though I've always considered this family's affairs so seriously, you've... That was not the noise that was supposed to be. Natsuki was already unable to hide her tears. She flew from the room in that state. After that, all that remained was a somewhat embarrassed mood about the parlor. When the sound of footsteps grew distant and silence returned, Kraus shrugged his shoulders slightly. I apologize for my wife? Bro, no! The 80s were wild! She has always been bad at controlling her emotions. It's even been rough for me. Yeah, think of me. How do you think I feel in this, says Kraus. Hey, Reddit, am I the asshole? I didn't go... my wife defended me in front of my family. How cringe. Oh, sorry, I dropped something. Okay, I got it. Kraus, you bastard. You don't deserve Nazi. Give her to me. That's what what's been managing your household. You must suffer to no end, Nissan. Oh my god. Ava is savage. And so elegant, too. Hi, Natsuhi. I apologize for my wife. Sigma Kraus edits? Sorry for my wife. She's being so rude. Adam? It's nothing. Leave me be. Natsuhi flew into her room and threw herself onto her bed, just like me, lamenting. Those heart-wrenching sobs reached Kumasawa in the hallway. Poor Madame Natsuhi. There is a deep enmity between her and Eva-sama. Explaining their relationship would be very trying for me, as a woman. The Ushirimiya family holds blood in high regard, but if a woman marries and leaves the family, they are normally removed from the family register. If a woman marries and leaves the family, they are normally removed from the family register. Their mother. Their mother. Thus, under normal circumstances, Eva-sama should have been removed when she married Hideyoshi-sama. Unfortunately, their mother? No! Oh, you got me with that one. Oh, no. However, Shiki Tono reference. There is, or excuse me, Nania. Which is it? Shiki Nania? I don't know. Tsukihami lore. So forgive me. It's Nania. Okay. There's no one deserving of blame in this matter. The madam certainly bears no guilt. There's nothing to call it other than a whim of God. Tsukihime? Yeah, that's it. I think I killed it, not gonna lie. There's nothing to call it in other than a whim of God. Kraus-sama and Natsuhi-sama were not blessed with children for some time. After all, this is the male-dominated Ushirimiya family. A wife is merely a tool to create an heir. If such a wife cannot fulfill her only duty, she will not even be treated as a human. It pains me to remember how the master tortured Madam during that time. Back then, a wedding between Eva-sama and Hideyoshi-sama was being discussed. Eva-sama was sly. Taking advantage of Madam's inability to become pregnant, she gained favor with the master. She inspired him to allow her to marry and give birth to a successor herself, making sure to avoid transferring her name out of the Ushirimiya register. She's crafty. She's kind of ruthless. There was a vast difference in the Ushirimiya hierarchy between Madam, who married into the Ushirimiya family and was treated like an outsider, compared to Eva-sama, who was related to the family by blood, and whose husband took on the Ushirimiya name. Furthermore, Eva-sama actually gave birth first, and to a boy. As for how much weaker Madam's position was than Eva-sama's, well, I believe you can see for yourself. Is she talking to us? Are we here? Or is she just in the hallway yapping to herself? I'm sure Madam is tormented by the thought that, if only she had gotten pregnant earlier, the master wouldn't have accepted Eva-sama's request to keep her last name after marriage. And Eva-sama wouldn't have been permitted to act as arrogantly as she did today. However, that was not Madam's fault. All of the blame lies with God's whims and the stork that delivered Jessica late. Even so, Madam won't allow herself to see things this way. She probably can't help but cry bitter tears as a woman at her inability to carry out the duties expected of a wife. Look at this! This battered 80-year-old housemaid who just bought into the way of the world, in quotes. Ah, how sad. I cannot do anything except watch over her from the shadows. Where's the sardines? The mackerel? Yeah, no mackerel jokes in that one. Oh, we're turning back the clock. It's gonna be the kids on the beach. Stick my head in front of the camera to let the people know that feminism is important. We crossed that hall again on our way to the entrance. There it is, the portrait. We did when we once again spotted that witch's portrait. However, spotted is probably not the best word to describe the experience. Natsuki deserves more. I am fully inclined to agree with that. Also, one of the ones, if y'all haven't caught the first 2 sessions, I think that the witch is real, and I think she's currently trapped inside the portrait by some magic that Kinzo did. It was more like our eyes were inexorably drawn to it. The woman's eyes, with their sage-like glamour, definitely had the power to make those who viewed it stand rooted to the spot. So this is the witch, Beatrice. Wonder if that story's true. Oh. Battler doesn't believe? Back when he had asked what this picture was, the first person to tell him had been Maria. Therefore, when Battler showed signs of doubt, Maria must have felt that Battler didn't have faith in her. Of course, that wasn't what Battler meant. Maria ran up to the portrait and began banging on a plate hanging below it. Maybe the title of the portrait was written there. Maria, trying to prove that she wasn't lying, obstinately continued to hit the plate. Sorry about that. It's not like I doubt anything that you said, Maria. Ooh. Battler believes. When he patted Maria's head and apologized, she seemed to accept it, sticking out her chest and proudly ooh-ooing. Oh, I guess? Sorry, here's another interesting thing, right? They talked about how Ava maintained that, like, position in the family. Like, daughters don't have a lot of stature, but she maintained her position in the family by, you know, having Hideyoshi take on the last name. Rosa, right? We don't know what Rosa's, I guess Maria's father is a better way to phrase that. We don't know much about Maria's father here. And, like, I'm trying to see if it says anything here. It doesn't, but, like, Kinzo said she is just ugly, right? Like, he was listing down why all of these kids kind of can't be the successor, and he just said, and Maria is, like, hideous. And I think that's to do with that logic where, like, it's not an Ushiromiya man's child. So, like, he probably feels very similarly about Jorge here. What's this? My beloved witch, Beatrice. Behold, the sweet fish river. What's with this weird, huge epitaph? The plate did have the title of a portrait written on it, but it was much too big to contain only that. Beneath the title was what appeared to be a long epitaph. If you just skimmed over it, several unnerving words would jump out at you. Can we read it? Incredible, isn't it? Grandfather had that made. Pretty deep, huh? I don't think it's that deep. I know. It's the place where the gold's hidden? Wait. Is it that story about the Ushiromiya family's hidden gold that was all left in one piece? Now there's another thing I remember from long ago. Hold on. Aniki, is this for real? Grandfather had this made, but he never said anything about this picture or the epitaph. Even so, amongst the family, it is often whispered that it indicates the location of grandfather's hidden gold, and that he will relinquish the inheritance and the gold to the person who solves the riddle. Oh. And that he will relinquish the inheritance and the gold to the person who solves the riddle. Oh, I heard that too. Lots and lots of gold. Well, something like that. I'm pretty good at riddles. Can we read the riddle? Something like 10 metric tons of gold bars. I think it's fake, though. Still, when you read about it in an epitaph like this, it almost seems real. I think I already explained grandfather's upbringing, but let me also mention that the Ushiromiya family's Legend of the Gold. Grandfather succeeded in the Ushiromiya family after it was destroyed in the Great Kanto earthquake, and by successfully riding the stormy seas after the war, he managed to accumulate great wealth. That much of the story everyone knows. However, this is where the strange part begins. Part of it involves grandfather's black magic obsession, so its credibility is extremely low, but, well, wait until the end before you doubt or make fun of it. After the war, grandfather correctly predicted what the future would hold and won in a huge gamble, accumulating a vast store of wealth. But there's a mysterious legend about how he gained his initial funding. Grandfather came from a branch family and had no connections to the business world or the financial world. Even though he later built connections with the occupying forces, he supposedly started as a nameless person who hadn't yet gained anyone's trust. You okay with theory crafting in the chat? Haven't played the game before? Absolutely, yeah. If you want to suggest something and you don't know for a fact that it is true, yeah, that's absolutely fine. It takes trust, like, unless you know something and you're just typing it and pretending that you're theory crafting, obviously don't do that, please. But I trust that people, you know, you can say stuff. I'm totally fine with theory crafting. Takes trust to gather money. There's no way anyone would lend money to someone they didn't trust. How did grandfather, who had no reputation at all, manage to obtain his first vast chunk of funds? When asked that question, grandfather supposedly answered like this. On a certain day, I encountered the golden witch Beatrice. Grandfather then went on and on about continuing research into alchemy and teachings for summoning demons in order to become a great magician. And the entity summoned as a result of the demon calling ceremony was the golden witch, Beatrice. He then apparently made a contract by which he would receive fortune and honor in exchange for his own soul. The witch then granted grandfather 10 tons of gold. Grandfather used this gold as collateral to prepare a vast quantity of funds, which he then used to multiply his wealth many times over and revive the Ushiromiya family. Oh my god, Rysair Chibi, yeah. This is one of the point redeems. You can get the gremlin model. How you doing, Shira? It seems this story is so old that even our parents were told it when they were still children. So back when our parents were young, they explored this island. Oh, ad break. I'll wait until the ad breaks. Then I'm actually going to use the bathroom while this ad break runs. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. How does trading your soul work? Do you just not function emotionally? It's my understanding in a lot of canons that trading your soul means you will not experience the afterlife. Like, you do not go to heaven or hell, duel 1, let's rock. You instead go to young Sheldon after you die. It is all black. There is nothing. But yeah, it might be something to do with how he lived. It might be that his soul in this case is she has total control over him. I think there's a world where he bested the witch, and when she went to claim his soul, and whatever that means, he imprisoned her in the picture. Like, why else would he start researching black magic like crazy after that? If I knew a witch was owed my soul, I would spend every minute of every day trying to research black magic to stop that from happening. I also grabbed some crackers, so please forgive me if I'm chewing. They're pretty good. They're butter crackers. However, since there was the danger of them getting lost in the abandoned forest, grandmother began to spread the story that the witch lived in the forest, so approaching it was forbidden. Okay, so the witch story came about. Well, it's kind of circular logic. I remember that old story. When we were little, we also went all over the island searching for treasure after our parents told us about it. Didn't we get lost in the forest once, then started crying until some of the servants found us? Our parents got so mad. When he talks about her, it almost seems like he was in love. I agree with that. I think he loved her. Dang, that takes me back. We also don't know who the mother of these four is, if it's even the same woman. So it's possible that Beatrice was their mother. Unlikely, but possible. He put you in a Florida retirement home, the most soulless place on earth. Actually, factually. We sure were idiots, weren't we? After all, grandfather only bought this island after using those funds to get rich, right? That means he must have had the gold before coming here. There's no way the gold's on this island. That's not necessarily so. Maybe the gold was hidden on the island from the beginning, and he brought the whole island just to ensure that it'd be his and his alone. There was a whole 10 metric tons of it, right? It seems more realistic that he tried to secure the place where it was hidden, rather than try to move it all. The epitaph was made 2 years ago, and since grandfather wrote it himself, yeah, it does make the legend of the gold seem more believable. The family we made along the way, I could see this story going that way. The so-called witch's gold that revived the Ushirimiya family weighed 10 tons. Maybe that's sleeping somewhere, ready to be turned over to whoever can solve grandfather's riddle. Maybe that's why he did it. I could also see a world where grandfather writes this riddle to get his kids cooperating to try to find the gold. In some kind of like... Dude, this is just Knives Out. I said it last time, but this is just Knives Out. There's a your mama joke somewhere in there. Guess it sounds like grandfather's style or something. Hee. If that's true, that's pretty incredible. The epitaph carved into the plate was very mysterious, with something like a poem or song written on it. The text was incredibly disturbing, filled with the signs of grandfather's black magic hobby, and its contents were truly in bad taste. But it couldn't definitely be viewed as a puzzle, which, if solved, might lead to the hidden gold. Can we read it? Whether that's what whether that's what he intended or not, I can't even imagine what the true motive might have been. All we know for sure is that grandfather put this shady epitaph here so that everyone in the family could see it. We also know that he's hinted at the existence of the gold without ever talking about where it might be hidden, at least so far. The facts that these facts then were embellished by the imaginations of our parents, who were convinced that grandfather was challenging us to a battle of wits. Sounds just like my dad. So greedy that he'd take something like this so seriously. Blank in bio, what could it mean? Pussy. in your bio at this time of year. Concentrated entirely in your bio. Unironically, this is just like Umineko is all I could think when watching Knives Out. It really does seem super similar. He may laugh at grandfather's black magic obsession, but he'd still believe this story about the hidden gold. It sounds so good. Yes. Can I see it? No. Well, it's certainly not a realistic story. At that time, when grandfather was still nameless and had no connections, there was no way anyone would just lend him a massive quantity of gold bars for free. If such a person actually did exist, it's not unthinkable that grandfather could call such sponsor a witch. Yeah, but it's 10 tons. That's as much as 10 tons. He took 40 cakes. If you cash that in, how much would it come to? I mean, it'd have to be a ridiculous amount, right? It certainly would be a ridiculous amount. They say that the total amount of gold mined by humankind since the dawn of history is 100,000 metric tons at most. That's what, like 0.1% of all human wealth in history? That's 1/10,000th of all the gold okay, yeah, thank you. Of all the gold that humankind has obtained throughout history should belong to just one person. It's just insane. Imagine saying that in 2024 when it's like probably actually true. What's heavier, 10 tons of a witch's gold or 10 tons of feathers? I would say the gold, because gold is heavier than feathers. On top of that, the witch supposedly had all that gold collected in one place and was able to lend it to grandfather just like that. We're not talking about any ordinary person here. Well, to me, that 10 tons number seems pretty fishy. After all, no one's actually seen it except grandfather, right? Even if we assume that some generous witch existed and lent him some gold, maybe it was closer to like 10 kilograms and not 10 tons. Even 10 kilograms would be a pretty incredible sum, right? I gave the witch my soul for 5 bit. Oh, 10 kilograms of gold is how much? Maria, who wasn't following the story at all, felt like she was being spoken to in riddles, finally found a place where she could ask us a question. 5 Bitcoin in 1986 is like $1 trillion now. It's actually probably true? I don't know. 5 Bitcoin now in 1986 is like $1 trillion now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. It was a question I also wanted answered right then. Whether it was 10 kilograms or 10 tons, it still felt like a lot of gold, but I had no idea exactly how huge. George folded his arms and tried to remember the market price of gold. There's a bit of boy math going on there. Market price of gold. I know the market price of gold. 10,000 gold, $6. Come to Lumbridge, right? Like, that's how much gold is worth, right? 10,000 gold is worth $6. Something you say after taking a hit of the broth of the Evan's still on the Kinzo blow. Doing a blinker off of my vape containing my demonic absinthe. Well, even the value of gold is affected by the market, and the value of physical gold can change depending on its purity and the trustworthiness of the foundry. You'd also need to pay handling fees. Oh, shut up, nerd. However, that doesn't change the fact that it's a precious metal, and some people estimate that humanity will mine all the world's gold within half a century if gold mining continues at its current rate. Yeah, me and my Age of Empires base, when I have 5 workers on 1 patch of gold. Just guessing haphazardly, I think you could expect the price of about 2 million yen per kilogram. So, what's that? 20 grand per kilogram? Fallout New Vegas, where uncontaminated is worth more than its weight in gold. Is that the soup? There was the demonic broth. Whoa! Just now I randomly said 10 kilograms since it sounded smaller. But even that would be worth 20 million yen, wouldn't it? Oh. I weigh 28 kilograms. Which means that if we had Maria-chan's weight in gold, we could estimate that it's worth over 50 million yen. 500k. That's just unbelievable. How much would 10 tons be then? 10 kilograms is 20 million, which you multiply by 1,000. Wait, you're trying to do tons into kilograms? That's... Don't do that. 20 billion yen? Battler's doing boy math. How much is 20 billion yen actually worth? That's a lot of skebs. How many skebs could you get for that? So a skeb is about 10k yen. So a million is 100 skebs. So a billion is 100,000 skebs. So 20 billion is 2 million skebs. That's 2 million skebs. So about half of what Makoto Fox has right now. That's pretty cool. Like, the fortune of the Ushirimiya fortune is almost how much Makoto Fox has got in skebs. Anyway, let's say the person wages over a lifetime are about 200 million yen. You grow up and work like crazy, sacrificing your life for your company, and you're finally free to approach old age. They give you a watch and send you on your way. Everything, including retirement money, might add up to about 200 million yen, which is like $2 million. In other words, that's the amount of money that'll be made through a human's life. No, you could even call that the value of a life. So 100 times that is the sum of an unbelievable amount of money. You work from age 20 to age 60, that's 40 years of work, so that's equal to 4,000 years worth of work wages. If you worked every day starting from the Jomon period, you'd only reach that number about now. Whoa. Is that a lot? Yeah, it's a lot. Let's go find it. Maria, you love shortcake, right? You could buy more shortcake than you could possibly eat for the rest of your life. However, while that might be possible with 20 billion yen in cash, I don't think that would be very realistic to have that many gold bars all in one place. Just as I said, gold is extremely heavy, so it isn't exactly convenient as a method of storing wealth. Sure, you could imagine someone gathering their fortune together as incredibly high-valued stocks or precious gems. Uncut gems? You often hear of people who traded their wealth for precious gems so they could carry it around with them during the chaotic times of the war. But you don't usually hear stories of people exchanging their wealth for gold. It may be heavy, but the most trusted and stable form of wealth internationally, so maybe that was important. For example, bonds are just scraps of paper if the whole country goes under. You can also look at it that way, but even one 10-kilogram ingot is pretty heavy to carry around. Haven't you heard? A 50-kilogram person can't carry a 50-kilogram bag over their shoulder. A 50-kilogram person can't carry a 50-kilogram bag over their shoulder. With that many gold bars, the amount of labor and risk for one person would be hard to calculate. So what you're saying is, well, it'd be one thing if you had a stack of banknotes worth 20 billion yen. 20 billion yen in gold would be such a big mountain that practically it'd be kind of pointless. I'm confused. How much does a 10 kilo bar weigh? That's a really good question. So it says if 100 of them is a ton, and a ton is 2,000 pounds, then it's, yeah, 20 pounds ish, which would, I guess if you turn that into, you know, metric units, you probably get about 10 kilograms out of that. So I think that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I got you. That's right. Although the Legend of the Gold does have a pretty interesting ring to it, just the part about the 10 tons of gold makes it pretty much impossible. You think about it logically like that, it sounds obviously fake. Kind of brings you back down to reality. Anyways, that's grandfather for you. Maybe he exaggerated the story of how some kind of wealthy person gave him a loan by saying he got 10 tons of gold from a witch. Even the number 10 tons feels pretty symbolic. You mean like his gratitude for the money he borrowed was worth 10 tons of gold or something? Maybe some rich man's leisured wife generously granted it to grandfather. And maybe he started calling that person a witch. I see. Jessica's example isn't bad. Someone who generously lent a huge sum of money to grandfather when he still had no reputation might as well be called a witch. Furthermore, grandfather actually did use that money to build a vast amount of wealth later on. The fact this person was so great at judging people might also justify calling her a witch. So, she's kind of smiling in this picture. I know Kinzo shouted out, like, I want to see her smile one more time. I don't know if he means he wants to see the portrait smile because she's in there, or if he means he wants to see her, and he's just using phrasing. Also, since she went to the trouble of lending all that money, she might have enthusiastically overseen how it was spent. The decision to unexpectedly get involved with the occupying forces and profit from the Korean War demands might have been inspired by the witch herself. That might explain why he claimed to have received both wealth and honor from her. Naruhodo. So in other words, this witch lent grandfather the funds necessary to revive the Ushiromiya family, and he owed her big time. We was in the war? Yeah, they invested during the war. The head of the family invested during the war to, like, make a ton of profit. I don't think he fought in the war, but he invested during the Korean War. And he owed big time. And then he felt so grateful that he had a huge painting drawn and displayed. Yeah, it's not that crazy a story. It's kind of that crazy a story if he only had this painting made like 2 years ago. That kind of doesn't add up. It's even possible that this person was an old granny who looked like a witch. Maybe grandfather idolized her, and that's why he had her drawn to look so beautiful. I'll bet if we ever did meet this person, she wouldn't be nearly this pretty. Interesting choice of line. Have we already met this person? Is it Kumasawa? Is it Maria? Haha, that's possible. The name Beatrice sounds pretty Western. And if you think about how everyone in our family has Western names, maybe even the name Beatrice is the result of grandfather trying to arrange some Japanese person's name to make it sound more Western. You don't think it's more logical that you all have Western names because she has a Western name? You don't think that's more logical? I get it. That means this pretty girl doesn't exist outside of this picture. Points. She's in the picture, dude. I'm telling you she's in the picture. Guess that means I won't be able to rub those elegant breasts. Oh, him and his breasts again. Is it possible they're all dirty commoner blood? Like, all of these kids are dirty commoner blood? Well, unlikely, because at the very least, we know Jessica... Well, okay, here's an interesting one that I just noticed. Jessica is a daughter of a male Ushiromiya. And again, Panda, you might be right in that, like, somewhere along the way, the bloodline is just dirty. But Jessica is a female heir to a male Ushiromiya. Invalid. Male born to a female Ushiromiya. Invalid. Female born to a female Ushiromiya. Invalid. Oh, the only male born to a male Ushiromiya is Battler. We actually don't know Battler's mother. Battler's mother died. Because Kairi is the second wife of Rudolph. So Battler is the only male son of a male son of Kinzo. So the reason I came up with that is because I was going to say it's not dirty if it's Kinzo's blood. So all of these folks all have Kinzo's blood in them in some way or another. But if, again, like, their whole thing with women is that it's kind of invalid, you cut off these lines, she is a woman, that might make Battler extra important particularly in the inheritance of the Ushiromiya fortune. Obviously, I know he's the protag, so it makes it easier to say that too, right? So, we'll see. In the first place, isn't having a witch pretty bizarre in itself? Like, you could find something like that anywhere on Earth. I laughed and made fun of the witch. Whoops, hit my microphone, sorry. I laughed and made fun of the witch, trying to distinguish myself from the kid I was 6 years ago, who feared the witch of the forest, when Maria tugged on my sleeve. I heard Battler Woman, and I almost passed out. What are you talking about? Oh, hey, BM, how you doing? I'm just yapping about Umineko. It's what I do with VNs. But I did notice that Battler, of the grandchildren... Oh, ad break. I gotta wait for the ad break. I'm gonna go grab some water. Ad break's almost over. I don't like the Japanese pervert humor. It's part of the anime too, where the 5 boo jokes necessary. Yeah, the pervert humor it's just part of these VNs for some reason. I don't know why. I guess people like it. I myself don't like it either. You said the younger daughter has a similar cut to Beatrice's. You talking about Rosa? Kind of, huh? It's possible that Beatrice... I mean, we don't know who any of their mother is. It's possible that, like, Beatrice is Rosa's mother, right? Yeah, that's very possible. But what I was talking about earlier, BM, was the only male child of a male child is Battler. The only one that kept the male side of the Ushiromiya family going through the generation is Battler, because Kraus had a daughter, Ava is a daughter even though she had a son, Rudolph had a son, and then Rosa had a daughter. Boo jokes are how Battler sort of starts banter. He's basically trying to instigate a Tsukomi bokeh routine. Oh yeah, I mean yeah, it makes sense why it's 2000s humor. Man, 2000s humor kind of cringe. He's gonna be like, my wife, when Maria tugged on my sleeve. I could tell by how hard she pulled that she was a bit upset. Huh? Hmm? What is it, Maria? I will say that Battler's perverted humor drops out by episode 2. That's good. That's good. Beatrice exists. Maria stared up at me. She had on her usual soured look, but I could tell she was angry by the color of her eyes. Witches exist. Witches exist. Well, sure, they do exist if you turn on the TV and watch anime or something. Witches exist. I started getting impatient, not knowing why Maria was jumping on me like this. Then Jessica tapped me on the shoulder and whispered, "Dumbass, you're smashing a kid's dream. It's like telling her Santa isn't real." Maria really believes things like witches and Beatrice exist. Come to think of it, Maria, in social studies at your school, when you were asked to write what you wanted to be when you grew up, you wrote a witch. Child, what? You wrote a witch? There's something about Mary. There's something about Maria. There's something about Maria in this witchcraft stuff. Witches. Maria nodded seriously. Tears started to run from the corner of her eyes. I see. To a girl who wants to become a witch in the future, the existence of Beatrice was proof that witches do exist in this world. I want to be beautiful woman when I grew up too, Maria. I believe in you, BM. And was therefore an image that she yearned after and admired. Exist. Witches do exist. But Battler still doesn't believe. It's okay. Witches do exist. I believe it. George kneeled down and hugged Maria's head. Watching this, Jessica poked my side. So, that's what it is. It's like shouting that Santa Claus doesn't exist in front of a child who believes in him on Christmas Eve. I'm not the kind of guy who likes to shatter kids' dreams. Oh, I am. I play fighting games. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to make fun of your dreams, so I apologize. Beatrice does exist. Even now, she's living in the forest and comes to the mansion every night to peek in and see what everyone's doing. So, you shouldn't go into the forest. At night, you mustn't stare into the dark forest. You might be seen by the witch of the forest, Beatrice. After all, grandmother said so. Grandmother. Really? Battler really believes? Yep, I believe. Sorry for doubting it. Come on, let's make up. I stuck out my hand, Maria grabbed it with her tiny hand, and we made up. Maria didn't grumble anymore than that, so George and Jessica were relieved. Can we read the riddle? Oh, so this is where all of you were. I was so sure you had gone to the beach. Shannon, carrying a basket, was surprised to find us all gathered in front of the portrait. Ah, Shannon. Well, this is the first time Battler has seen Beatrice's portrait. He was just fascinated by it. That's right. It certainly is fascinating. Beatrice is truly beautiful. I am sure that she captivated the master. In addition to the patron theory, there's also a theory that it was grandfather's first love. Either way, although it had been several decades since he met her, even now, she holds a special place in his heart. Which must mean that he is still captivated by her. Shannon. Yeah, Shannon seems pretty cool. Sheesh. That must have made grandmother pretty jealous, huh? I'm not really sure, but that might actually be true. Apparently, grandfather believed he was cheating on her with some blonde. Oh. Good smell. Good smell coming from Shannon. Maria, sniffing, approached the basket Shannon was holding with interest. After hearing that, I noticed a fragrant scent with a touch of vanilla. Oh, I apologize. I was told by Kumasawa-san to bring them to everybody. Oh, what is it? Excellent. Cookies. Man, I just want someone to bring me cookies. Cookies are good. Please, eat as much as you would like. But, would it be appropriate to serve cookies in a place like this? In front of the portrait? On my way? Oh my god. Door is open. Shannon sent us a glance that seemed to ask what we wanted to do about it. Well, yeah, I guess eating here would be bad manners, generally speaking. Can we read the poem? Maria, why don't we eat someplace else? Let's put the cookies in a bento and have a picnic. Oh, picnic. If we can eat cookies, then let's go. Yeah. Let's go get some fresh air. We shouldn't stuff ourselves right in front of the witch. That's right. Didn't we say that we wanted to go down to the beach in the first place? Let's go. Shannon, sorry, but could I ask you to get a blanket to sit on and some flasks of tea? Right, certainly. Shannon received her instructions and gracefully bowed before retracing her steps. We headed for the beach on our own. Everyone headed for the entrance in a group. Feeling as though the witch was staring down at our backs, I turned around once more. Witch jump scare? Battler, you still don't believe? Nope. I believe. It'd be so much cooler that way. The golden witch Beatrice gave grandfather 10 tons of gold. And that gold might be sleeping around here somewhere. Besides, didn't grandfather write that strange epitaph as though challenging us to find it? I'd say that's kind of an adventurous story's way better. 20 billion yen worth of gold, huh? Even if we split it up between the four of us, that's still a ridiculous amount of money. 5 billion for each of us. 50 milli. Maria, my sweet daughter. I love her so much. I hope she grows on me. She's kind of not my favorite character right now. With that kind of money, you could probably make any sort of business prosper. In fact, we could live our whole lives fabulously without working at all. Bro, I hate to break it to you, but you already can do that, George. You don't gotta do shit. Look where you're standing. Oh, I don't want 5 billion yen. I want cookies. That's the priority system right there. Maria would take cookies over money. Me too, Maria. Still, 5 billion yen. That's like a dream. Yeah. Based, actually, yeah. Would you take 5 billion yen or cookies from Shannon's basket? I would take the cookies. The glycogen energy provided by them would let me hustle and raise money on my own. Ridiculous. It's possible that you all truly believe in Father's legend of the gold? Of course we don't believe that story about a witch giving him gold. But there's no mistake about the gold itself. Oh. The fact the father obtained gold bars from an unknown source has been confirmed in several ways. We've heard that before the president of the Marusu company died, Father showed him a large pile of gold somewhere. Father used that man's claim as proof that there were 10 tons worth. That's just the nonsense of a senile old man. Along with Father, he was just fabricating a story. But if you have the money, then you can get more cookies? Not the same. Teach a man to fish. He'll fish. Give a man a fish. He'll make it fish. You can't take it seriously. That gold didn't exist. If that gold didn't exist, you wouldn't have been able to gather so much funding. You understand? Questions you can hear? Take a sip of water, I will spit it out. Before the president died, he was a person with such sincere personality that he earned the respect of many of the businesses in the world. Okay, hold on now. This could be important. The president saw the gold and then told everyone Kinzo had it. But like, that could have been a trick just to get the fidelity of the world people who believe this president, right? He wouldn't become a partner of such fraud. Aniki, the president of Maruso definitely saw it. 10 tons of it, clearly, with his own eyes. Even more, Dad let the president take one ingot at random and have it examined. The results of the examination showed that the 10-kilogram ingot was 99.99% pure. He said the Ushiromiya family crest, the one-winged eagle, was imprinted on it. Almost instantly, the Ushiromiya legend of the gold spread amongst the fixers of the business world. Gold from an unknown foundry had a poor rate of conversion into money. Thinking that it was a chance for decisive profits, they accepted it as collateral, and as a result, Father was able to receive massive loans. Is there no limit to the absurdity you're willing to accept? How old are you people? Are you still taking that nursery tale you heard as children seriously? He knows where the gold is. Kraus knows where the gold is. Where's the proof that this 10 tons of gold even exists? Aren't you just parroting the lines of Father and a few of those close to him? Of course, it's just the story. But still, Aniki, the amount of money Dad raised required a suitable amount of collateral. Even if the gold itself was just a rumor, it's an undoubtable fact that he showed them a treasure of comparable worth. It was just an illusion of money created by our penniless father. He acted as though he had actually had the gold that didn't exist, fooling his sponsor. Okay, that's kind of what I'm thinking. How do these kids not know where their dad's money came from? Hello? I mean, it's olden times, right? It was probably the gamble of a lifetime. Luckily, his use of those funds proved successful. If the Korean War demands hadn't come and the Ushiromiya family had not been restored, father would probably have been hounded after as crook of the century. So, are you saying that the gold never existed and that father made it all up? Of course. And because of that, the illusion of gold became a mere inconvenience once he'd achieved enough success. They'd literally rather believe their dad was a con artist than that this gold exists. Well, okay, so my theory, Kraus doesn't want the gold to exist because he's in the prime position to inherit all of the stuff of the family. And I think he wants them to not believe the gold exists. Because I think he either knows where it is, like, I think he knows where the gold is, or he wants them to think that there isn't as much fortune as there actually is to split up, since he's in the prime position to get it. The other three, of course, want the gold to exist, because they would be... That's the easiest way to split up the fortune, right, is with the gold, and they would be in an easy spot to get it, so... I think, based on this, Kraus knows that the gold exists and where it is. Maybe that's why he never opened the hotel? Ooh, wait, I like that. That makes a lot of sense. That's why later on, Father added all that about a witch and black magic, weakening the credibility of the entire story. In other words, he revealed that the illusion of the gold was a fabrication. Right, that's kind of what I mean. The whole con artist story is super flimsy. Yeah. Like, yeah, who would, like, how would he get the money if any of this was fake? Unless she was actually a witch. I don't know. But, like, you know what I mean. If he claimed to have received the gold from a witch, no one would believe that it existed at all, right? It's also possible that he said it for all of your sakes. Nevertheless, here comes some stupid offspring wanting to divide up this non-existent gold along with the rest of the inheritance. Okay, now he's just talking. Now he's self-reporting. Like, this is just, come on. Like, this is in Among Us when you start talking too much, and or werewolf, as the boomers call it, and you start giving yourself away because you're talking too much. Literally every time I ever play those games, this is what happens to me. Rosa. Don't tell me that even you believe in a fabrication like this. I can't prove whether or not father really had the gold. I just want to claim my rightful share as one of father's 4 children. Oh, it seems even you have started to talk that way, Rosa. I see. So that's what you are all getting at. You're trying to claim that I'm attempting to keep all the gold for myself. This dude is a Scooby-Doo villain. Nissan, you've gathered a massive supply of funds. That's a fact. If we rule out the possibility that you've been embezzling father's... If we rule out the possibility that you've been embezzling father's personal funds, then there's only one possibility left, right? Yeah, the possibility is you found the gold. Aniki, we've been thinking that you might have found those 10... Let's go, family. Dude, these two are ruthless. Ava and Rudolph? That's like a broken shell. Ava, Rudolph, Phoenix? Don't even try to fight that team. It's so sunny how they always try to get Rosa in on their side. Yeah, like, both of them are... So these two are clearly, like, working... Like, they're allied in this family feud. They're allied... Rosa is really pliable, but seems to be allying with these two. And then Kraus is trying to get Rosa on his side to have some kind of pull. But I don't know how you beat... This is Doom Virgil right here. Like, I don't know how you beat this team. They showed off how close they were in the opening. Yeah, that does make sense, huh? They were really, really chummy. Ridiculous. Such a thing never existed in the first place. Then, explain yourself. Was it embezzlement of father's assets or father's hidden gold? I think it was neither. I think it was his wife's family's money. Because they alluded that she came from money too. How could you have gathered so much funding if not by one of those methods? Even I have many friends in the political and financial realms. I have earned their cooperation. Nothing more. And on that matter, I have no responsibility to explain myself to you. Ava with the Rudolph assist is so oppressive. Yeah, it's like broken. You understand, don't you? There's some topics that ought best not be spoken of. If you insist on that point, that's all well and good for now. But Aniki, Dad doesn't have long. They're Android 17 and 18. Nobody can ensure that he'll live to see this day next year. The inheritance process will begin at the instant of Dad's death. We'll arrange for lawyers and accountants who are impartial to all of us and have them inspect Dad's financial situation. At that time, if it comes to light that you've unjustly interfered with Father's money, you understand, right? I don't have a clue what you're talking about. You're starting to make me feel as indignant as my wife was. Of course, Father's gold is part of Father's fortune. We understand it's money you can't reveal openly, but the 4 siblings should have an equal right to it. Why can't he reveal it openly? In other words, we're going to have your financial situation investigated as well as Dad's to determine whether you're hoarding the gold or not. Isn't this a great opportunity? Right now, prove the existence of your so-called support from friends and acquaintances. That way, we can sportingly apologize for foolishly doubting you. Don't take the bait. Right, Rosa? Rosa? If I recall, talking about money is way more taboo than it is even here. I believe that. Yeah, you know what? That's probably true. But talking about grabbing your cousin's boobies is fine. That's right. Kraus, you are the one who's dodging the issue. If you were guiltless, you could just prove that you were in the right, but you aren't even trying to do so. However, we still have to consider your position here. As Dad's representative, you're probably bearing a larger share of the burden than we are. We've been living terribly relaxed lives until now, so it wouldn't be fair for the rest of us to complain without taking your efforts into account. Oh. Seems you cannot make up your mind whether to flatter me or slander me. Please, get to the point. Basically, randomly investigate nitpicky aspects of Father's wealth seems like a pretty crude way to go about it. As you said, Kraus, there may have been movements of money that are difficult to explain. We've come to consult with you today while fully aware of that point. Both sides stand to gain from talking about this now. Oh, another ad break? Sorry. I gotta wait this one out. Interesting stuff happening here, though. The conversation is really interesting. It definitely feels like Kraus... I think... This is just me going, this is a visual novel logic. But I think Kraus is neither in possession of the gold or embezzling Father's money. I think I'm going to double down on the fact that he's using Natsuhi's family money to keep these business ventures going. But because she's not an Ushiromiya, and because it's like not their money, he's like mortified. He's like afraid that he'll get like actually kicked out of the family for doing that, for using like the wife's funds or the wife's family's funds to keep these business ventures going, especially because they're failing. Like he's probably trying to hide all of this failure because either it's just a pride thing, or he might say like, well, if I show all this off, there's no shot I'm going to get any of the inheritance because I'm clearly a failure with money, which I think they kind of all know already. But yeah, I don't know how he's best going to reconcile that. And then the ad break is over. Welcome back, everyone. Sorry, I know those ads are annoying, but they do prevent people who come into the channel from getting any kind of ads themselves. So you are doing a service to newer viewers by watching those ads. Is there some kind of curse with the gold? Not confirmed yet, right? Like, we don't know that. A consultation. Oh. They've definitely talked about the curse of the witch, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was tied to the gold. With the inheritances divided, you'll be rewarded for your years of hard work taking care of Dad by an agreement that's generous in your favor. Don't misunderstand us, Nissan. We aren't saying that you will abandon our rights, but when we make our claim for what we deserve, we might as well offer a generous understanding for your position. That's all we mean. In other words, if you accept our conditions, then when the inheritance is divided, we'll leave the investigation of Father's financial situation to you, Kraus. That's weird. All of the siblings from Ava downward suspected that Kraus was trying to steal their father's wealth. So, letting Kraus report the state of that wealth was extremely contradictory and a huge concession. Yeah, like that doesn't make sense, right? If, as they claimed, Kraus was actually embezzling, Kraus would be able to hide that. Besides which, it'd be possible for him to control the distribution of the inheritance in a manner favorable to himself. Kraus, realizing that this sounded too good to be true, couldn't help but feel suspicious, and I agree with him. He couldn't help but worry about what they'd ask for in exchange. After mistrusting me completely, you now say that you're willing to restore your confidence in me as the eldest sibling? So what is it that you want in return? Just what we deserve as siblings. You aren't the kind of person who would steal Dad's property, but you also aren't being financed by some patron. Considering all that, there's a certain explanation that'd satisfy the rest of us. Nissan, you found the 10 tons of gold and used that as collateral to gather some funding. Yes, just like Father did in the past, right? If that's the case, then there won't be any funny business in Father's finances. You've always been a good son, looking after Father, so why would we mistrust a person like that? You're being so roundabout, I can barely understand. Please, speak more clearly and in more practical terms. Our first condition. You must admit that you found the gold. Yeah, right? Like, that's what it's looking like. You must admit that you found Dad's gold. Are you asking me to admit I possess the gold that doesn't exist? Our second condition. You'll acknowledge that each sibling has a right to a share of that gold, and you will pay out those shares. Foolish. With that non-existent 20 billion yen of gold, that would be 5 billion yen per person. Are you telling me to pay out a total of 15 billion yen? Ridiculous. Keep listening until the end. We know that much money can't just pop out of nowhere. We're not asking you to make an impossible deal here. Of course, regarding the portions of that gold, we plan to reward you plenty for your hard work until now. Our third condition. The portion of the gold to the one bearing the title of successor to the Ushirimiya head family will be 50%. The remainder will be considered a fair share for the siblings and divided up. So, interesting phrasing here, Ava. Not Krause's share will be 50%, but the portion of the gold to the one bearing the title of successor to the Ushirimiya head family will be 50%. I think they're gonna try to, like, for lack of a better word, disbar him, get him discredited and have him not get that 50%. Of course, this also includes you, Kraus. Of the 20 billion yen, 12.5 will go to you. So that's the 50% plus a quarter of the rest. 2.5 billion will go to Ava, 2.5 to me, and 2.5 to Rosa. That division scheme makes me so grateful I could cry. So you're saying, for the sake of the gold that doesn't exist, I must pay you 7.5 billion yen. What's wrong? Nissan, your share is 5 times the size of ours. Those are such good terms, I'd be jumping for joy. Our fourth condition. The gold will be liquidated and distributed along with the inheritance at the time of Father's death. However, as a deposit, 10% of our portions are to be paid to us promptly. These payments must be made before March of next year. He doesn't have to agree to this. What do you think, Kraus? This is an ideal chance for you to restore the trust regarding your handling of father's assets, isn't it? Of course, it might be impossible to get a whole 7.5 billion before father dies, but it should be possible for you to manage a deposit of 750 million, right? Hey, he does if he is embezzling. That's true. They're trying to corner him into admitting he's embezzling. Essentially, they're saying, if you pay us 750 million yen, we will shut up about you embezzling all of Dad's money. Sure. Okay. That makes sense. Strong arm way of doing that. Paying 700 million in half a year might sound like a pain, but you should be able to manage it, what with all of your friends in the political and business spheres. Normally, we'd hope to receive the 7.5 billion right now, all at once, but out of concern for you, we'll show our sincerity by asking for only 10% of that for the time being. The remaining 90% can wait until the inheritance is distributed. See? Even you'd be capable of managing a mere 10% to show your sincerity. So, you're trying to sell me the right to assess father's financial situation for 750 million yen. How impressive. You all certainly have grown. To think that I'm now the one being offered deals. Nissan, if you accept these terms, the rest of us siblings will leave the investigation of father's assets to you. However, the results of that investigation will be subject to scrutiny. It's only natural, right? We'd be so sad if you managed things so that our 7.5 billion shares shrank. We'll avoid complaining, as a general rule. Just make sure you do it neat and tidy. As long as you don't try anything that is blatantly obvious, we've got no intention of stirring things up. We want our inheritance quickly too. We don't want to get it all drawn out and left hanging. If a complaint is made, who would carry out the follow-up investigation? We don't mind if it's you? This is probably the first and last chance for us siblings to reach a consensus. I believe it won't come to that. So, yeah, they're basically saying, as long as you don't just screw us on this inheritance, you can take most of it. Just give us this, just give us 7.5 bill over however much time. Looks like even you can speak up now and then, Rosa. By this point, it's obvious that Kraus wasn't at all trusted as the older sibling, so there's no need to go into detail. The formerly tyrannical older brother had always abused his privileges and violated the other siblings' shares. It was in response to this that the other three, now adults, were finally teaming up and striking back for the first time. Sorry, but there's more. Our fifth condition. This decision will take precedence over father's will. Can you do that? Can you have... Do you have a will? I guess like they would enact the will and then do this. Later on, we don't want some will to appear and make the decision completely irrelevant. I mean, they kind of can if the guy is doing the investigating himself, true. I see that you're very cautious. Then let me ask, if the gold really were found, what would you do? Since you'll be making payments for us to what the gold is worth, the rest of us really don't care if we ever see the gold or not. You can think of our share as an advanced payment. Oh. Good to have dreams, isn't it? You plan to turn this island into a resort, right? You might stumble upon the gold by chance during construction. Ava let out a high-pitched laugh. Kraus watched but didn't even flinch. Let me add a seventh condition. There's no sixth condition. Let me add a seventh condition before I accept. In the situation that any sibling other than myself finds the gold, they will immediately turn it over to me. Oh yeah, sure. We'll hold on to it for you. It was a play on words. Of course, the others, who are forcing Kraus to pay money for some non-existent gold, wouldn't save Kraus's portion if they actually found it. From the beginning, this deal has been nothing more than a threat directed at Kraus. Regardless of the actual facts, it was still extremely likely that Kraus was embezzling his father's assets. When Kinzo faced death at last and had his inheritance distributed, some unpleasant facts would surely come to light. That could easily become fatal to Kraus. The others had spotted a weak point and were threatening their brother under the veil of compromise. Oh, night, Mom. Trying to wring a huge sum of money out of him. However, they had forgotten one thing. They had forgotten that their brother's brain moved so swiftly, at least when it came to cunning and guile, that they'd been forced to band together to combat him. While Ava couldn't stop smiling, sure of her victory, Kraus let out a gloating laugh to show how relaxed he was. This all makes for such a touching story. My estrangement from you all has left a deep pain in my heart. If accepting these conditions means we siblings can become friends again, it would please me to no end. I'd be happy to agree to your deal. Whoa. Rejoice, Rosa. We have reached an understanding. So an interesting part of this deal is it says the one to be named head of the Ushiromiya household gets the 10 bill. I think that's going to come up later. It was never a good sign when her brother started talking like this. Ava also keenly picked up on this. That's why she was unable to wipe away the sense of unease, even though Kraus had obediently accepted the deal. Aye. How obedient of you. It's not like you at all, Nissan. Did he actually say 7th? I think so, right? Let me add a 7th condition. There was no 6th. Might have been a translation thing. Are you implying I have some ulterior motive? Yeah, I wasn't really listening to what the VA said. Of course I don't. I'm just the same as all of you. Just the same as all of you. He seemed to emphasize that one part. Yeah, either that's an important thing or not. Hard to say, right? Hold on. We can do it this way. We can go to the YouTube. We can use the power of YouTube. We're gonna put a Rysair on Rysair here. Crumpkins. Sometimes when I can close my eyes, I can still hear Ryer's voice. Well, what's cool is now we're going to have a Rysair in a Rysair in a Rysair if we watch this even longer. He said Nana, yeah. Yeah, so let's look at the multi. Lots of Ryers now. Wait, does this go infinite? Does this go infinite? Yeah, it does. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Me playing a deck builder game? It grows by like 2 every time. Oh, okay. This give me a headache. This give me a headache. This give me a headache. Save it. Okay. Scoot Swarm Ryder. Splinter Ryder? Banned in Modern? Okay, so hold on. The sixth condition might have been the follow-up investigation. Oh, I can't scroll back anymore. The sixth condition might have been the follow-up investigation if there's any chicanery during the financial investigation. So the seventh condition would then be what he added to it. I don't think there's some implicit sixth condition. Yeah, they did not specifically call it a sixth condition. I know that was not said by word. What would that mean, though? Nothing, right? Like, well, maybe not nothing, but it's hard to come up with something like making that mean something. To him, it sounded as though Kraus was saying, I have a plan similar to yours. So Rudolph panicked. He rushed to bring this nearly resolved discussion to a conclusion. Then we're good. So, Aniki, would you mind signing here? This is a written contract summarizing the discussion we've just been having. There's one for each of us. Everyone's will sign for the same contents. Rudolph took 4 written contracts out of his breast pocket and had the details of the deal written on them. Thank you for the head pat. The 7th condition you propose will, of course, be added right now. Don't worry about that. Aniki, need a pen? Rudolph took a fountain pen out of his breast pocket and offered it to Kraus. Kraus made as if to accept it, but then, with a small laugh, he drew back his hand without taking it and spoke. Actually, in order to ensure that this agreement is properly executed, I'd like to propose an amendment on just one point. Oh, I know what it is. He's going to say the family head thing. As soon as Kraus said that single sentence, all of the siblings felt as though something ominous was creeping up their backs at the same time. That won't do. We already decided, haven't we? What did they sneak in there? Just stay quiet and sign it? No, dude, he would totally read this. Why are you in such a hurry, Ava? Of course I'll sign. I promise the share of the gold going to all of you will be 7.5 billion yen. I also promise that when father's inheritance is distributed, I will cleanly and neatly liquidate it. However, there's one point that I simply must insist that you compromise on. What are you talking about? What don't you like? The part about promptly paying 10% of your share, 750 million yen. As soon as you pointed out my financial situation is far from prosperous. As you pointed out, my financial situation is far from prosperous. While I can guarantee that I will collect on various future investments, I must admit that I am quite poor at the present moment. In short, I have absolutely no money that I can move around right now. I am incompetent, and my business sense is dull. Since I am the loser you all claim me to be, I just don't have the power to move 750 million yen in just half a year. That can't be true. Are you trying to deceive us with such a half-baked trick? At the time of the division of the inheritance, I will liquidate everything at once. Remove the condition that I must pay you 10% in advance. That is the only condition under which I am willing to sign. Kraus, that 10% is nothing more than a number to measure your sincerity, isn't it? All things being equal, you shouldn't have any room to negotiate at all. We're doing you a huge favor by offering to let things slide for just 10% in good faith money. Now that we've explained that, you rejecting our offer would seriously damage our trust and relationship, right? Hideyoshi had a humble expression on his face and was rubbing his hands together, but his eyes weren't calm at all. Kraus had already seen through the shadow in the depths of those eyes. Why are you all in such a rush? Or could it be that you're afraid of something? Rosa, won't you tell me? Alone? Are they afraid Kinzo's gonna drop dead before it gets signed? Probably, right? Secretly, so the rest of the siblings can't hear. It's not as though I... Quit it, Aniki. All we're asking is whether you're gonna sign or not. What if he's already dead? Oh, what if Kinzo's already dead? And they know it? Did they kill him? Just forget about making any strange deals or any other suspicious moves. Dude, they totally killed him. They totally killed him, and they know he's dead and about to be, like, found by the servants, and they need this dude to sign now. You say I have no room to negotiate. Are you trying to claim that I'm in a weak position, which therefore puts us in an unequal relationship? Shivers began to crawl off Rudolph's back. He began to feel himself getting overwhelmed by the height of his brother's completely insurmountable wall, and the long shadow that had existed since they were children. He's hitting me with the domain expansion, Okage business. Shouldn't deals be made between those on even footings? From my perspective, this deal will help restore the long trust of my younger siblings and deepen the love between us. It's an old problem that's been eating at me and one I would prefer to resolve as soon as possible. I would be overjoyed if we could resolve it today. However, it seems I'm not the only one who's quite glad to close this deal quickly. Am I wrong? Kraus stared at each of his siblings. They avoided his gaze with an animal-like instinct. I feel like if they were willing to kill their father, why wouldn't they just also kill Kraus? Oh, yeah. Maybe they didn't kill him. Maybe they found him dead. Oh, ad break. Maybe they know he's dead, but not they killed him. I'll probably play until the next ad break and then call it. On the subject of calling it, I'm going to head to bed myself. Testing to do tomorrow. Yeah, so I have no locals tomorrow, so I'm not going to stream. I'm just going to come home, and then, like, we can play a couple hours to test. And then Wednesday, I'll pick back up on Umineko. Triplicate's recommending me a VN as well. Paranorma site. Paranorma. 7 Mysteries of Honjo. This looks right up my alley. VN streams are so back. Okay. Ad break over. I've had my eye on that one for a while. Trip just finished it. Yeah, Trip was the one who recommended it to me. He just said I would probably like it. I'm going to play Mario Party 5 for a little bit and put my Inna plush in a hammock with her. Cute. Only Hideyoshi was slow in avoiding it, so he was caught by Krause's gaze. Hideyoshi, I hear your company has been doing extremely well lately. At a brisk pace, it went public, and both its track record and its stock prices have soared. I am truly jealous. We aren't here to talk about my husband. However, it is unfortunate that you have neglected your stockholders. It's even more unfortunate that you were unable to solidify your base when you became stock listed. Before you realized it, some bad-natured colleagues of yours had brought up a huge share of your company's stock, right? How could you know about that? The same way you knew about me. It's possible to collect evidence proving that no one would offer a loan to me. Then it's possible for me to collect evidence on you. Is this really so unexpected as that? Kraus grinned broadly. In contrast, Hideyoshi's face was rapidly turning pale. Oh, so they need the money to, like, keep their crap afloat. Hideyoshi's company was a restaurant chain management company that he'd started from nothing. Thanks to Hideyoshi's management efforts, the company had achieved success repeatedly. Expanding its range and petition to make it a stock-listed company had recently succeeded. The greatest advantage of being in the stockholding system is that you can sell stock certificates and gain a large amount of financing. That amount tends to be far greater than a business's normal profits. So, this is an extremely effective way to gather massive funds to expand businesses even further. However, in exchange for financing the company, the stockholders gain certain rights. They're given rights that allow them to observe and guide the company they've invested in, leading to profits even greater than their original investments. This right is guaranteed to the stockholders, and they sometimes use it to dismiss ineffectual management. The right allows them to keep an eye on management and prevent the money they've invested in the company from going to waste. Oh, they need to buy back a bunch of their stock to prevent Hideyoshi from getting ousted, huh? Wait, is this game like Okage Business for most of it, where like there's actual like business wheeling and dealing? Because like I love that stuff. However, they use it forcibly. They can eject the former management and take over a company. That's a hostile takeover for you. After all, dismissing management and nominating new management are powers held by the general body of all shareholders. That power is determined by the majority decision of the stockholders. And the people who hold more stock get to cast more votes. I learned about that on Futurama, where the old lady had 1 share of Planet-Jigger, and she wanted that guy. Umineko when they short squeeze? Yeah. In other words, if some person or group holds a majority of the stock, they can freely chase out the old management and make a president anyone they'd like. If they want, it's also possible for them to make themselves president. Most companies take various defensive measures to stop malicious people from buying up their stock and threaten their position, like ensuring that lots of stock is bought by those close to them, such as company employees. However, Hideyoshi's company had only recently become stock listed, and he hadn't had time to strengthen those defensive measures. Or maybe Hideyoshi was so engrossed in the management of his company that he couldn't properly understand the dangers of being stock listed. And because his company's successful, people are going to want to buy into that and take it over. Hard to say whether he should be viewed as a kind-hearted manager immersed in the work of management, or a foolish manager who had his feet swept out from under him. In other words, there existed some people who wouldn't let him get away with that naivety unscathed. They began repeatedly buying up stock in Hideyoshi's company, rapidly gaining such strength that they couldn't be ignored. They then sent anonymous documents to the shareholder in an attempt to gain control of the majority. The documents read, "The current management continues to make pointless investments and is ignoring the need of the stockholders. Let us force the current management to retire, cut the current waste in investments, and let this company be born again as the one that gives more back to the stockholders." Dude, is Kraus this dude? Did Kraus go in and take all this Hideyoshi stock? It's very difficult to make the actual state of a company's management known. Like, why would he send out an anonymous note? The fruits of Hideyoshi's sleepless nights and constant concern. Dude, I think Kraus has his company. The fruits of Hideyoshi's sleepless nights and constant concern for his company were cruelly distorted, and he lost the trust of his stockholders. Thanks to these efforts, the group had almost collected a majority of the company's stock. But the stockholder realized that the company was undergoing an acquisition maneuver, and each demanded a ridiculous price for the shares that Hideyoshi was trying to buy back. Squeezing him. They continually tortured Hideyoshi, who had no leeway on the negotiation of the price. One of the certainties of capitalism is that the price will rise when two parties vie for the same thing. And one of the certainties of democracy is that the majority controls everything. So, in the end, whoever manages to buy up the most stock wins. Put another way, whoever has the most money wins. Unless tcg.jpg, unless Hideyoshi could obtain a large sum of money at this critical time, he could easily lose all he had built so far. Therefore, more than anything else, he wanted a lot of money right now. He couldn't wait for the division of Kinzo's inheritance, since no one knew when he would die. And you, Rudolph, you've been in quite a lot of trouble lately too, haven't you? You always hear people say it's terrifying overseas, but seems it really is true. American trials are settled quite emotionally. They never hand down generous judgments to foreigners. Weren't you advised by your lawyer that making a settlement with one of the other party would be more economical in the long run? What's this all about? Well, it's just some trouble from work. No big deal. Nothing you can't settle with money. Kairi immediately guessed the meaning behind the subtle expression on Rudolph's face. Her husband had gotten wrapped up in some kind of trouble without her knowledge, and had been worrying over it alone. That's right. In this world, anything can be settled with money. After all, it can even buy back the broken bond between siblings. Dude, this guy is kind of overpowered. America is very fussy about the violation of rights. But with money, anything can be settled. Long live capitalism. Though, rumor has it that the settlement money could be as high as several $1 million. Rudolph had been building a large amount of wealth with a certain type of niche industry. However, a niche is a niche. It definitely wasn't a business exposed to the light of day. An American corporation giant was trying to accuse Rudolph's company of violating their rights. For various reasons, it was thought that victory for Rudolph in this trial would be extremely unlikely, and he was being forced into an all-out surrender. But even so, there was more way for this to be resolved with money. KRB2148, hi, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Challengers. Appreciate having you here. If he could just pay that money, it might still be painful, but he'd be able to pick himself back up. But if he didn't pay, he'd lose everything. Therefore, more than anything else, he wanted a lot of money right now. Rosa, you're a good and noble little sister. You wouldn't get yourself involved in a dangerous money game. However, your soft-hearted nature has brought you trouble, hasn't it? In my opinion, becoming a co-signer for anything isn't something one should enter into lightly. Dude, he's got all the dirt. He's like... He hit them with the freaking mirror force. That's none of your business, Kraus. Rosa uncharacteristically laid bare her emotion and yelled. After all, no one was supposed to know that. What could she have co-signed on? As Kraus watched, he let slip a muffled laugh. Without exception, every one of them, more than T mentioned, wanted a lot of money right now. In other words, the situation had been reversed. Now there's a card I remember. Trauma. After all, the person the younger siblings were threatening was the only one who had no urgent need for a large sum of money. The other three, however, wanted a lot of money quickly, no matter the cost. In other words, the longer it took to establish this deal, the better position Kraus would be in. Kraus was extremely sly. He had known of their Achilles heel from the beginning. Even so, he had not been certain. Therefore, he had hidden his knowledge until the very end, striking back only after analyzing their attitudes. She co-signed a 0-square-foot apartment in New York City worth 250 million yen. Put in 500 million yen of renovations. And galvanized steel beams across the roof to hang some lights from. A sink and wash area. two oak wood cabinets lined top to bottom with the finest of marble. I can't talk as fast as those AI generated ones. Therefore, he had hidden his knowledge. Okay. If it were possible, I would like nothing more than to raise some money for my adorable siblings in their time of need. But unfortunately, I have nothing on hand. If you know of any sponsors that might be able to raise a whole 750 million, I suggest you try there first. Rysair, I swear to God, I almost dropped a weight on my foot laughing. Oh no, don't get injured. You can thank Mango for that one. But unfortunately, I have nothing on hand. I suggest you try there first. Kraus's elated words were so obviously detached from what he actually felt. The other siblings could do nothing more than listen, grinding their teeth. Would actually need to have my childhood eagle fly me everywhere? Yeah. HMO2, fly. If they could think of a sponsor that convenient, they wouldn't have to keep up this charade. They had entered this huge battle specifically because they had exhausted all other options. However, if you do insist on relying on your big brother, I wouldn't mind using my influence to help you find such a sponsor. Oh wait, I do believe you said that I have no influence. Well then, I'm afraid I won't be much help to you. Kraus's low, gloating laugh began to fill the parlor. The younger siblings, who had been driving the oldest brother into a corner until a moment ago, could do nothing more than grimace and grind their teeth. Ava, don't make me laugh. As if I'd ever put myself in your debt. Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh. If we relied on you, how exactly would you help us? I told you, didn't I? All I can do is find other sponsors for you. Of course, I will negotiate for the highest interest rate possible. Damn, taking advantage of us. Honey, please calm down. I am calm. I am extremely cool. You bastard. Kairi grabbed her husband's hand, but that action made him feel even more pitiful, so Rudolph shook it off. Kraus laughed as though watching something highly amusing. In times like these, it certainly would be nice to find Father's hidden gold. If you did, you could split it up into 2.5 billion portions right now. How sad, how sad. How very sad. You look extremely nervous, dude. Have some lemonade. Extremely, totally, truly, hopelessly sad. Sounding like the Grinch. Have y'all seen the Joel Haver, I think it is, bit about the Grinch? Have you seen that video? We should watch it on the ad break. Tonight, let us all drink together as we solve the riddle of Beatrice's epitaph and discover the location of Father's hidden gold. If we 4 friendly siblings work together, there is surely no puzzle we cannot solve. Haha. Glass shatter, stone cold. Kinzo flow incoming? Quite an entertaining scheme. Well then, what are the conditions they've attached? Well, whether or not Kraus actually discovers the gold. Oh, look at this. Snitch? Whether or not Kraus-sama actually discovers the gold, he'll pay Ava, Rudolph, and Rosa a total of 7.5 billion yen for their shares. However, 10% of that must be paid before March. Kraus, you dumbass. Red Foreman function? You dumbass. To think he would have his feet swept out from under him by his younger siblings. How truly amusing. But it sounds as though they tripped when going in for the kill, yes? Hey. Kraus exposed the fact that Ava and the younger siblings all have urgent need to get money. Is there even any need to expose such obvious facts? That irresolute, incompetent man. Red Ushiromiya, I'm dead. That 1980s, that 80s show? Weird sequel turn for that 70s show where they go to Rokkenjima. Ashton Kutcher. Hello, Rokkenjima! Oh, no. What are they doing now? That conversation has been put on hold for the time being. Now, Beatrice's epitaph is being discussed. So, they're trying to solve the riddle and find out where my gold is hidden? Yes. Sore. Hachijusho. Kinzo set down his spectacles and snorted. Snorted? He's snorting that demonic absinthe. Will the miracle be fulfilled first? Oh, here he goes. He's going in. Will the miracle be fulfilled first, or will those fools expose the gold first? What a show this will be. At the very moment those fools solve my puzzle, I will suffer utter defeat? They can suck my corpse down to the last fragment of bone. The greed of fools can allow great magic to bring forth a miracle. And yet, if the fulfillment of the miracle comes first, if it comes first, Beatrice will be resurrected again. Will the miracle be fulfilled first, or will they find the gold first? So he is saying the gold is real, and it sounds like it's being used for some alchemical ritual to revive this witch. The smile I've been chasing half my life will be restored. Beatrice. Soon will come the sacred night when we shall bet upon a miracle, and the game of demons shall begin. I will surely prove triumphant and survive. I'll let you have the lives of all those others. I don't need wealth or honor or assets or gold or anything. All I want to see is your smile one last time. Kinzo choked, apparently in great pain. Cannon got closer and tried to pat the master's back, but Kinzo motioned for him to stop. Do you know why I went to the trouble of exposing the hidden location of the gold in a place that everyone can see? No. It's because magical power is determined by risk. That's right, they did talk about that. Putting it right in front of everyone's face makes it more powerful. If the number of people who try to discover her gold is great, and the danger of them succeeding is great as well, then the power of the magic will bring about a grand miracle if we succeed, despite the odds. In other words, magic is a game. It's a card game. It is not the case that the one who performs the best becomes the victor. So true, it's just whoever draws better. The victor performs his best because he has been granted magic. Do you see? It is similar to how the miracle of life can be granted only after winning against the divine odds of several 100 million to 1. It's a little difficult. Is this a little difficult for you? My apologies. That's fine. It all comes down to this. I will give all that I have built up to the one who solves the mystery of Beatrice's epitaph. Luis Scott Vargas explaining how he gets top 8s. That's a good one. That's a good one, Mango. Wealth, honor, gold, and the inheritance of the Ushiromiya family. Everything that I have established. My children certainly aren't the only ones with the right to attempt to solve this riddle. Anyone who solves the riddle will have the right to gain everything. Even you. Getting all my family back in one place. Call that ancestral recall? Wait, that's a heater right there. That's a good one. However, I couldn't possibly understand such difficult riddle. Of course, I made it difficult, but you must try to solve it as well. That will form the seed that summons the miracle of my magic. If everyone attempts it and everyone fails, that will be that. However, if the miracles come together and give birth to magical power, it will happen. Beatrice will revive. That is why you must attempt it too. Everyone must attempt it. And in doing so, they will give strength to my magic. Do you understand? You understand? Yes, I will try. For a long while, Kinzo repeatedly muttered to himself, agitated and clutching at his head. Kanon stayed where he was, alert and unmoving, until he was given the next order from his master. Kinzo eventually realized this. Very well, leave me. There's a bag of sweets on the liquor cabinet. You can take some with you as a reward. Hype. I'm fine. After all, I am furniture. I think he might literally be furniture. So furniture doesn't eat sweets? Well, I suppose it stands to reason. In that case, leave me. Me trying to stay on my diet? I'll just keep saying I'm furniture? Excuse me. Kanon bowed and left the study. As the door closed, the heavy locking noise sounded out. The ad's going to start in a second, so I will wait for that to finish. But it was not the sound of Kanon locking the door. It was the door locking automatically. No one could enter without Kinzo's permission, and once they left, they could not enter again. It was a mechanism that Kinzo, unable to trust his blood relatives, had created to steel himself up in his own study and isolate himself from the outside world. We'll watch this during the ad break. This is so fire. Hope you enjoyed your meme. Would you like dessert? No thanks, I'm furniture. Yeah, me trying to stay skinny. I like the dog's expression. He's just like... What is this? This is Umineko. Oh yeah, you won't get audio on YouTube if you like switch over to YouTube when it hits an ad. You won't get audio when I play like clips like this. I meant the Grinch video. Yeah, I know you meant. It's just Joel. It's a Joel Haver video. It came up. I said Grinch and I thought of this, so I wanted to share it. The doxing. So good. Banger. It actually made me appreciate the like it. Oh, good. Like in the background, muffled. Deep. The Grinch remix with the Umineko violins. All I need is a grid cycle sound going, and it would be peak. Oh, excuse me. Grid cycle on the left of your violins on the right. If only I could master stereo. Does that? I can still hear it. I can still hear the Bury the Light Mango Tango remix. He was already unable to trust anyone excepting not the children who share his blood, but those servants who called themselves furniture. The highest number they said was 3. Nanjo, how are you feeling? Ah, Genji. Oh, it's just that there's no place for me to be anymore. With a bitter laugh, Nanjo turned his face to the door in the parlor. That look was apparently enough to tell Genji what Nanjo wanted to say. For the most part, Genji also understood the family situation. It must have made him want to frown, knowing that right now, in the lounge, the master he served was being discussed so disrespectfully. But it would have been very difficult to gather that from his indifferent expression. Still, I don't understand. Why did Kinzo have something so provocative written? I wonder. Nanjo looked at the portrait of Beatrice. No, he actually directed his gaze beneath the portrait at the plate with the epitaph. I do not presume to understand the master's thoughts. However, I am sure he had a deep reason for doing so. Since long ago, when Kinzo played chess, he would always prepare his moves according to some far-reaching judgment. Yet sometimes, even to make moves Yes, sometimes even to make moves that even I couldn't understand. For an average person like me, it was impossible to see through to whatever it was he was planning. Sometimes, I wonder if this might be some kind of will in the Master's eyes. Perhaps he wishes to hand over his wealth and title to the one who can understand it. What's up, Reach? Oh, I guess Genji would know that. So you're thinking he may have written the four siblings to work... wanted the four siblings to work together to solve this riddle, before some outsider like myself solved it. Kinzo may speak of his children in insulting terms, but perhaps he also wanted them to repair their relationship. It certainly would be heartwarming if, as Nanjo had suggested, the epitaph had been made to repair the siblings' relationship. However, both Nanjo and Genji knew that nothing could be more impossible than this. They'd known Kinzo longer than anyone, and Kinzo trusted them more than his own relatives, but even they could not guess his true motives. The Master always says that everyone has the right to try and solve the riddle, even if they aren't a member of this family. What about you, Dr. Nanjo? No. It's a little too difficult a puzzle for this senile old man. Actually, I once wrote this epitaph down on my notebook. Night after night, I would try to solve it before going to sleep, but it really is hard. It looks like we might have some free time to relax and consider it before someone comes to get us. What do you say, Genji? I am nothing more than furniture, in service to the Master. Gold and assets are unnecessary to me. You're very modest. I imagine that's why Kinzo trusts you so much. If so, I am honored. Wow! As Nanjo lightly laughed in response, he once again looked at the epitaph. Behold... Okay. As Nanjo lightly laughed in response, he once again looked at the epitaph. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land, Eldritch! You who seek the Golden Land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. The epitaph on the portrait called My Beloved Witch Beatrice goes as follows. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. As you travel down it, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. There sleeps the key to the Golden Land. The one who obtains the key must then travel to the Golden Land in accordance with these rules. Of the first twilight... Oh, there's a lot. Okay. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by key as sacrifices. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. On the third twilight, those who remain shall praise my noble name. On the fourth twilight, gouge the head and kill. On the fifth twilight, gouge the chest and kill. On the sixth twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the seventh twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the eighth twilight, gouge the leg and kill. On the ninth twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. On the 10th twilight, at journey's end, you shall attain the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all the gold from the Golden Land. One shall be the resurrection of all the dead souls. One shall be the resurrection of the love that was lost. One shall be to put the witch to sleep for all time. Sleep peacefully, my beloved witch, Beatrice. End. That's a good place to end. At the beach.
第10の晩に旅は終わり。
Okay. So, that was fun. Great session, great session. Thanks everyone for hanging out, as you did. Time to go. Yeah, so we'll be ending stream. Stick around for a second, though. I do want to raid out as well as talk about the future of the stream. I also want to talk about that riddle a little bit. So that riddle Oh. Yeah, night-night, Mike. That riddle is long. It kind of has 3 parts. The first part talks about going down the river, going to get a key. My hunch is that that is not physical things. My hunch to that is that that is a word, that's wordplay to do with like, maybe not a map, but like, I don't think you're literally going somewhere. I think it like spells a word or something. That's just my hunch. I do think I will be straightforward here, and I guess transparent. I do think I remember Triplicate talking about knowing, like really appreciating Umineko requires a little bit of like knowing like Japanese isms, like Japanese cultural things. And I think like knowing that's the extent of what I know about it. So I don't know like literally that it has to do with the riddle or anything like that. But he did tell me something like you can really appreciate it if you really know like a lot of these Japanese isms. And the one that really stands out to me is how like things are written, right? So like the way that like people's names are written is usually like 2 kanji for like 2 objects, right? Or maybe not exactly that, but you know what I mean. How people's names are written is like kind of objects. And I think the salmon and the key and the village and the hut and the 2, I think that's in people's names. And actually, hold on. You might have enough in. Do they have how people's names are written? Yeah. See, like he has a little hut in his name, right? Or is that Ushiromiya? No, that's Kinzo. This is Ushiromiya, right? Yeah. So Kinzo has what looks like a little hut in his name, right? And he wrote this 2 years ago, so all of these people were married and alive in that time. And they were named in a way, like, it's almost like they were named in a way, and, like, Maria's got the cross there. They talked about a salmon. This almost looks like meat. Almost looks like the kanji I want to say for meat. Right, so I think there's something to do with that. She talks about fish a lot. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I don't quite know enough kanji, I don't think, to, like, really solve this, especially at face value as soon as it's presented, right? It's obviously not meant to be solvable immediately. But I think that has something to do with the riddle. First part of the riddle. The second part of the riddle has 10 nights of, like, gouging different parts of what reads to be a body. And you've got its, like, chest, stomach, knee, leg. Chest, stomach, knee, leg. Stuff like that. So, like, my first instinct with that is it might have to do with the picture of Beatrice. But I don't think all of those parts are shown on the portrait. I'll have to reference the riddle again, but it sounds like head is one of them as well, yeah. So, like, I know a lot of those are on that portrait of Beatrice, but I don't know if they all are. But I think, so instead of gouging a person, it might be gouging that picture. Now, the concerning part is they talk about, like, sacrifice the 6 selected, right? They talk about sacrifice the 6 selected, and then sacrifice 2 more, and then stuff like that. Oh, wait. Is it talking about chess pieces? The chess game is supposed to be really important too, right? So is it talking about the chess pieces when it says sacrifice 6 and then sacrifice 2? Maybe. Again, I'm asking these questions not in order for them to necessarily be answered. This is just where my head's at. So I don't want to, like, I don't want to know. I want to find out by reading. But this is where my head's at. So I think we've got Maybe the sacrifices are the chess pieces to some extent. And then it talks about her granting 4 things. It grants all the gold, all the souls get returned, the love gets revived, and the witch sleeps forevermore. Who knows? We'll get there, but that's where my head's at. And I think I actually have some solid stuff here. So for those of you keeping track of my theories, that's where I'm at now. We will pick this back up on Wednesday. I might get through the first game and then play this one the Triplicate's recommending, because he says it's only about 14 hours. And that's only like 4 streams. Yeah, I ain't saying shit. I want to hear your process. How many drinks are we in at? We're at finish because the night is done. But quite a few, because I just talked about a lot of stuff there. But yeah, we'll see how much I crack it. I was pretty good at cracking some of the other ones. I came up with some nice ones on the 999 series as well as Raging Loop. I had some decent calls. I also had some wrong calls. I'm not going to say I have a 100% hit rate, but I do often come up with something or another that's at least close. Should be fun. Tomorrow, no stream. 999, that's my game of the year last year. I played it last year. It's my game of the year last year. It was so good. Looking forward to it. It should be fun, yeah. So no stream tomorrow. It's normally when I would go to locals, but I will be practicing cards with teammates tomorrow because there's no locals. And then Wednesday, I'll stream again. Certainly will be Umineko. Thursday, I might stream again, but yeah, I'll try to post on Twitter kind of the morning of. Follow me on Twitter if you aren't already. You can get that info there. I don't really tweet a lot except for when I'm planning on going live. You can also join the Discord. The Discord gives a ping if you give yourself the role when I go live, and I also try to chat in there at least once a day. Trying to do better about that. I also want to bring movie nights back to the Discord, but that will be once work kind of chills out, which might be never. So no promises. Okay, whomst do we raid? Marvello's in TNS. He's still alive. TNS still going? That's the question. TNS is at... TNS is at Grand Finals Reset, it looks like, so we're not going to do that. So where do I send it? Who's playing Elden Ring? Who's playing Elden Ring and fighting a boss? Let's send it over there. Thanks for streams as usual. Yeah, that was a super fun one tonight. I'm really glad we got to hang out, and I will see you all Wednesday. Be good to one another.